Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Murder Church. This time I'm not going to stop the stream. I just totally ended that other stream. Welcome in here. Thanks for coming in. Murder Church, get ready to come at you, baby. Stick with me.
Let's rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? I'm getting my stuff together here. Murder Church is on the air, baby. Sunday morning, April 7th, 2024. Welcome in here. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for coming over to the new stream. Please like this one, share it out, get this one in the algorithm. If you wouldn't mind going to X and sharing that out as well. I made a new post. I deleted the other one and get the hearts on there. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I clearly hit start stream, and then I had a brain lapse there. It's a little too early for me. Like I said, probably going to have a late night, and I did, watching wrestling all night. So yeah, I went right back up there, and I was like, oh, let's go ahead start the stream. And I was like, did I just end that son of a bitch? And I did indeed end that son of a bitch. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming in. Appreciate it.
Son of a bitch!
Not messing around this morning. About to get the bells going. See if we can get Viv walking through the door. First of all, let me get the live chat on. And then also let me get the chat in here so we can get this conversation going between all of us, between everybody. 10 a.m. We coming in just a little bit late. Let everybody get an extra hour of sleep today because I needed it myself. Pastor needed it. So, hell yeah. First of all, let me look through the chat here just a little bit. I am extremely chaotic this morning. Jesse Charles coming through here. Jay, my dude, coming through here. What's up, my man? Dizzy, of course. Amber coming through. Heard through the grapevine it was someone's birthday. Aspiring court reporter Sarah. I don't know if she's in here. I think she might be getting some rest, but if she does pop through here, let me know. Going to wish her a happy birthday again. Good morning, Debbie. Thanks for coming through here. Appreciate it. Everyone coming in, really appreciate it. Hell's Bells. Anybody lurking, all new people, welcome in. Thank you very much. Morning. Knox Girl's hanging out. Cat Girl's hanging out. Defense Attorney Meow's hanging out. Disney Nerd hanging out. What is up, everybody? Appreciate everybody coming through. Hanging and banging. Like I said, there's Viv coming through also. That's what I'm talking about. Well, since Viv's here, we're going to start this thing out the right way. The only way you can start Murder Church out, ladies and gentlemen, was with some... And that was perfect timing. Hell's Bells just gave out $5 as I hit the bells. Let's go. Passing the pot early here on Murder Church. Those bells get the party started here on Murder Church. We are on week 5. of Joel Michael Guy Jr., the Joel Michael Guy Jr. double dismemberment murder trial out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Happened in 2016. Trial is from 2020. This one has been absolutely insane. Completely insane. Hell's Bells, thank you so much for coming through here. Love it. First of all, $5 out the side gate. Let's fucking go. We're not messing around, baby. We're not messing around. Starting out early. Jesse Charles. What is Jesse Charles doing? Oh, Lord. Hold on now. Jesse Charles just gifted out some memberships. And when we gift out some memberships, we give out a lot of different things. We give out some brewskis. Give out some of them little tornadoes in the chat there that might be a little something if you take a closer look. Who knows? Maybe a little probably nothing. Maybe a liquor drink. There's some liquor drinks in there. And maybe just a coffee that we've spiked with something. Who knows? I'll give you a lighter just in case you use one of those little tornadoes. There's a drink. There's a liquor drink. And we starting early. It's Sunday morning in church, and we're passing out booze thanks to Jesse Charles. Boom! Knox Girl going to grab one of those. Adam Malone's going to grab one of those. Sheila Duffy's going to grab one of those. Aspiring court reporter is hanging out. Happy birthday. Sarah is going to grab one of those. That was for the birthday. Hell yeah. Love versus Money 68. Let's fucking go. Get the chat filled up with the beers, with the probably nothings, huh? We ain't messing around, baby. Who is watching WrestleMania? Is anybody actually watching WrestleMania? WrestleMania was pretty awesome last night. And for whatever reason, now they do 2 nights of WrestleMania. It's not just one night. It's not just one huge show. It's 2 massive shows. And not only that, it's actually it's like 5 days of lots of shows all around the little vicinity in Philadelphia where they are right now. There we go. Got to see the beer. CH in here. Got the beers going. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Hell yes. Hell's bells. Yeah. I'm Not T-Pain's hanging out also. New Patreon member. And I'm Not T-Pain. I'm not sure if you looked at Patreon yesterday. I uploaded something specifically new for Patreon folks that is not going to be seen by anybody else. There's some stuff that I can do in the Patreon page that I can't do anywhere else. So yeah, please go and check that out if you're on the Patreon and you haven't seen what I posted yesterday. More of that is coming. There's lots of little things I have like that tucked away in folders of what me and Dan used to do before we really got into true crime. Tons of that stuff. And Friday on Feral Friday, that was a Publicly Buzzed classic episode. That's literally the vision that I originally had for Publicly Buzzed. What happened on Friday? Everyone hung out, watched X. We had a blast. It was fucking fun as shit. I got buzzed up. It was wild. It was fun as hell. Also, that movie is insanity. That movie's only going to be on Kick for a limited time. I'm going to be taking that down this week, and it's going to be going to Patreon exclusively, too. I'm actually only doing that because I'm a little bit freaked out having that one hanging out on Kick because it is a brand new film that might have been streamed off of a major platform live illegally. I don't know. I have no clue. I didn't do that. I didn't see that. Happy birthday, Sarah. Happy birthday. I wish I had a birthday song. I don't. I do not. I'm going to hit you with a... Just chillin'. Just chillin'. Just chillin'. We just chillin'.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
We're not messing around this morning. Everybody hanging and banging. I really appreciate it. We're going to go for a couple of hours here this morning. MJ's in the house also. We're going to be going for a couple of hours this morning, watching some more of this trial. This first video is 1 hour and 6 minutes. As you know, it's going to be a lot of the prosecution moving forward and the defense attorney basically saying, I have no question. So let's see what happens. Let's rock and roll. And again, thanks everyone for fucking hanging out this morning. I really appreciate it. Charlotte's in the house also. Didn't see Charlotte out there. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Jessica for Justice out here. I bet she's going to be streaming a little bit later also. Hell yeah, man. Everybody's in here. The crew in deep this morning, baby. Crew in deep. That's what I like to see. Let's get over here. Let's get over here real quick. See, I'm on the wrong side, of course, because of the new streaming, with the way we got to stream with Dan. Hold on. Let me get over here. Let me get straightened up. I feel like I'm a little bit crooked. There we go. There we go. There we go. See how this works out. Get the sound on. I got my coffee. Hopefully you guys have your coffee as well. And let's go. Again, trigger warnings all over this. You never know what they might show. We've seen some insane body cam footage. We've seen some footage of them walking through the premises after this happened. And anybody that is not familiar with this case, again, over Thanksgiving in 2016, the son murdered his parents, dismembering them, broke off the mom's head. Okay. Didn't cut until he broke it off, broke her fucking neck at the bone in half. Put her head in a pot of boiling water, and then tried to melt his parents' bodies in a vat of Drano and different types of chemicals that he had purchased at the store. This is a very barbaric, insane trial. So warning all over the place. Again, welcome in here. Thanks for coming. Let me get the chat over here also. I'd like the chat to be on here during this thing. I think it's pretty cool. And also, gotta get my logo up there. Boom. Which I might have to tweet.
So, Your Honor, please, this is a business records affidavit from Deborah Rogers, who's the custodian of records for SunTrust Bank. And this affidavit concerns the account of the account holder named Lisa Guy. It references the account number, and there are a one-page account statement for a transaction made on November the 28th, 2016, check card purchase, transfer date 11/27/2016, Submeter 1 LLC, 022557657577, Louisiana, in the amount of a withdrawal or debit for $3,090, again on November the 27th, 2016, and we would submit this as our next.
Any further objections?
Nothing beyond what we've already done with the affidavit.
Very well. All right, folks, the court is now going to receive into evidence Exhibit 641, which has an affidavit from the custodian of records indicating what they purport it to be. So that is evidence you may consider as well. All right, next item for witness.
Call Mr. Jeremy McCord.
Tell us your name, sir,
Jeremy McCord,
and by whom you
That was me
employed.
this
Knox County
morning.
Sheriff's Office.
And were you so employed in November of 2016?
Yes, sir.
And if you would, how long have you been at the Sheriff's Department?
Since September 10th, 2007.
Okay, and how did you become involved in this case, sir?
I'm the lead investigator on the case, sir.
Okay, and where were you assigned November the 28th of 2016?
I was assigned to the Major Crimes Unit as a detective.
Okay, and I want to talk to you about what initially brought you to 11434 Golden View Lane here in Knox County.
I had received a phone call from our teleserve unit indicating that an employer was concerned for Lisa Guy, who had not shown up for work that morning. She had some type of lunch or some type of event with coworkers planned. Her not showing up to work, not answering phone calls or anything else was very uncharacteristic of her. I had also learned that our officers had gone out and done a welfare check at the residence sometime before then, and having that information plus the information that the caller is still calling in is persistent, that something's wrong, I decided to contact the officer that responded and went back to the residence, or went out to the residence initially to see what was going on.
Okay, and the initial officer that responded, was that Officer Ballard?
Yes,
Okay. And based on the call, did you go with him back to the residence?
I did.
And if you would, tell the members of the jury what you encountered when you were outside of the residence.
Upon my arrival, there were vehicles in the driveway. There was a for sale sign in the front yard. The back fence was closed. The front door was locked. You could observe, you could see that there were groceries inside the residence. With the vehicles in the driveway and the information that we had, it was obvious that the owners of the vehicles could possibly be inside the residence and need assistance. I actually jumped the fence, went to the back with another officer, got down and got up on the door, observed that there was a doorknob missing on the back door, and the glass was warm from the inside of the house. Like, you could just tell that the door was warm, and there was some kind of strange odor that I observed. I don't know if I verbalized it. I know that it was more or less just a feeling sensation, feeling very odd. There was something ominous about it. Went back around the fence. At some point, the realtor was contacted, and I had observed that there was no realtor box on the front of the door. So I called the number listed for the realtor and spoke with someone at the office, and then I believe the realtor themselves. And it was suggested to me, A, that there should have been a lockbox on the front door, and B, that perhaps there was another avenue of entry because without us having to break windows or anything like that to get inside the residence. And a garage door opener was located. The garage door was opened. As soon as the garage door was opened, you could feel heat coming from the garage door.
Let me ask you something, sir, investigator. So at this point, what are your concerns? You arrive on a crime scene and go through your concerns as a police officer conducting a welfare check. What you're experiencing, what you're processing.
At the time, we didn't know that there was a crime scene. At the time, what we're doing is conducting a welfare check, which is something that law enforcement does on a daily basis, even in this community. People call daily to check on people that they've not heard from. It's either an employer that's not heard from an employee or a family member that's not been able to get a hold of a loved one. They're not picking up the phone. They may be unable to go themselves, or they don't want to go themselves because of the unknown. So they'll call law enforcement, and we'll go and conduct a welfare check. So at this point in time, all I'm doing is trying to see if somebody inside needs help.
Okay. Did you run the license plate numbers on the vehicles that were in the driveway?
I don't believe I ran them through leads. I
Okay.
don't.
In the course of the investigation, did you learn that they belonged to Lisa Guy and Joel Guy Sr.?
I did.
Okay. And did you take that into account when you were on scene?
On scene, having knowledge having knowledge that the two vehicles in the driveway were their cars, and they weren't known to have any other cars. And I'm not specifically sure how I got that, other than perhaps the neighbor had said their cars were in the driveway. I'm not 100% certain. But we had information. It was obvious that there were vehicles in the driveway. Nobody was answering the door, and it was an odd situation.
Okay, so the fact that there's vehicles in the driveway and no one's answering the door, that's an odd situation.
Yes.
What else makes the situation odd to you as an investigator?
Well, as an investigator, what's odd is with nobody coming to the door, and the fact that, Lisa Guy, who had plans, who had an employment history where she showed up to work daily, and if she wasn't at work, she would have called. The questions were asked of the complainant if there were any history that she was worried about as far as her being in trouble or anything like that, and she said no. I mean, at this point, it could be anything. We could walk into a house and it's a carbon monoxide exposure and people are deceased inside. We just don't know what we're walking into. But with the knowledge that she's not answering her phone, she's not responding to texts, and also knowing that the husband had been called as well by the employer, it's alarming.
Okay, so we have the cars that were alarming to you, the fact that Miss Lisa Guy is not at the residence.
Correct.
She's supposed to be at work. What other factors did you consider?
Well, the front doorknob was obviously not matching the deadbolt. Most doors have doorknobs and deadbolts that match, and with the lack of the realtor box and the realtor telling me, hey, there should be a realtor box on there, that's just another factor that we consider in a circumstance where something has gone wrong and we need to go in and check it out and make sure nobody needs help.
Okay, so in addition to the front doorknob, when you go around to the rear of the residence, is there other factors?
Down to door
that alarm you?
420. 420 is upon us also. Shit, I've already paused it. Fuck it. Get in here. She just become a Buzz the Confused member. Getting in the motherfucking house. Buzz Nation. We are out here.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hell yeah.
Investigator.
Well, the back door was missing the doorknob as well. The back doorknob, it appeared that it was the same color as what was on the front door, if that makes any sense. It's like you took the back doorknob off, you put it on the front door, and somehow removed that lockbox.
Okay, so in addition to the back door missing the knob, was there anything else about the rear of the residence that alarmed you?
Yeah, overall, there was something emanating from that door to the point where I felt heat, and I also smelled an odor that was chemical in nature, and I'm not certain exactly what
Fuck yeah.
specifically
So glad
that
you
odor
did.
was. It was just odd to me.
Okay. What about
Thank
the fact
you.
that a doorknob is not present?
Awesome.
That, as I said earlier, that doorknob is removed, and it is apparent that doorknob is on the front door.
Okay. And when you went back with Investigator Ballard, did you physically see the groceries inside the front door?
You could actually see the groceries from the back door looking through the doorknob as well. So you could tell that there's groceries in what appears to be the front foyer of the residence.
Okay. And taking all these factors into account, did you ultimately make a decision to enter the residence?
I did, to conduct a welfare check.
And do you recall how you or the people, investigators or officers you were with, made entry into the garage?
The garage door was open, and we stacked up, and I was making announcements that we were law enforcement.
Let me back you up for just a moment. When you say the garage door was open, did law enforcement open that garage door?
Yes, law enforcement opened the garage door, and then we went in and went to the door that led from the garage into the residence.
Okay, and how did law enforcement open that door?
I believe I pushed that door open. I believe it was just kind of pushed too. Okay. I don't even know if I touched the doorknob. I just pushed on the door, made entry. Upon walking inside, immediately being hit with odor and heat, very extreme heat.
And backing up even further, how was the garage door open? That's what I'm getting at, sir.
Oh, my apologies.
Okay.
The garage door, there was a garage door opener located in one of the vehicles, and I believe in reviewing everything that one of the other officers may have opened that garage door.
Okay.
Pushed the button.
Okay. So once in the garage, the entry to the garage door into the residence is opened by you?
Yes.
Was it locked?
No.
Okay. And once you're in the residence, describe kind of what you're perceiving, what's going on to you as an investigator.
Overall, when you enter, you don't want to stand in a doorway for an extended period of time because you have people behind you. So you want to try and get in and see what the layout is to determine where to go next when you're clearing the residence. The entire time we're making announcements, we're hit with heat. We're hit, and again with this strange odor.
Couldn't imagine
there is
that.
a pot on the stove, a large pot that you can tell that the stove is on, the stovetop and the oven are on because of all the heat coming from that area, and it's very.
This crime scene would have been horrible.
It's very odd
to have to work.
And as we're going through the house, we're making announcements. We're moving forward and progressing through the downstairs of the residence, and we observe several things to include the lockbox for the front door of the residence.
Let me kind of slow you down a little bit. You talk fast just naturally, but
Roger that.
We're going to go through room by room and just
Okay.
kind of go through what you're perceiving as an officer. But let me even back up even further. When you open the garage, do you feel that heat that you're describing,
Yes.
is that present in the garage?
It is.
Okay, so starting in the room that is directly through the garage door, it's like a living room. Tell us what you observe in that room, and then we'll move on to different rooms.
Well, initially, when you go through the garage door, it's like an eat-in kitchen. And from right there, you've got on the table, you've got what appears to be a purse, a couple wallets that are out, and there's items on the floor that, are... there's bottles and other items on the floor.
Now, are those items on the floor? Do those alert you in any way?
It's odd. I mean, there's just there's stuff in the middle of the floor at an entryway, so you're wondering if somebody's had a medical event after they've carried in groceries. We just don't know. So we see these items. We're feeling the heat. The stove's on. The oven's on. We're going through, and as I go into what would be the living room,
Let's stick in that room first.
Okay.
When you described two wallets present on the table, did that alarm you in any way?
Yes. I mean, most people when they leave their residence, in my experience, have their wallet on them, and to have two wallets, one male, one female, and for us to have the knowledge that Lisa and Joel Guy resided there by themselves, to see two wallets there and nobody answering the door, it's alarming.
Okay, now sticking to the table in the same room where the wallets are, is there anything else present on that table, sir?
There are other items on that table. Specifically, I know that I believe there was a hammer on the table and a cell phone, I believe, on the table.
Was there a doorknob on the table?
Excuse me?
Was there a doorknob on the table?
I don't know if it was on that table or on the dining room table in the formal dining.
Okay.
Because there were doorknob pieces on the formal dining room table.
Okay. So we've gone through the table.
This entire house was just a hodgepodge of evidence.
Let's move on to the kitchen, sir.
Waiting to
just
convict
walking through
this
the kitchen slowly.
fucking moron.
Tell us what you observe in the kitchen.
Again, thank
to the right
God
was a
they're morons.
stove that appeared to be on with the pot on it, and at the time we didn't know what was in it. And continuing through,
Did you see any pill bottles in the kitchen?
there would have been, yes. The issue is when going through the house, we swept it. We swept it twice. So on the first entry, I would have gone totally straight in, and somebody else would have gone through the kitchen, and we would have met in the middle.
Okay.
So my testimony of seeing what would be in there would have been upon the second entry and further investigation.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have seen that first.
So you
thing.
went straight, and someone else covered the kitchen on the initial entry.
Correct, and then we would go down just to make sure that if something happens, that we're not going to hurt ourselves or anything, and we're clearing it safely, and then we make it through. All I really observed was there was what appeared to be feces in the floor of the living room.
Okay.
I believe that's a living room den type area where that fireplace was. There's a fireplace in the wall. There was feces there. I observed that. I remember that, and then I went straight through.
Do you recall whether or not any heaters upon your initial entry were on?
I don't know if the heater downstairs was on or not. I know it was hot downstairs. I don't know what position it was in when I'm going through and clearing it.
Okay. So after the dining room there,
Let's have a bit of a toddler
after
weird
the
face.
kind of living room, kind of the dining room next. Is that fair to say?
Yes, we would. I would have gone through the foyer. That area had the groceries in it and whatnot that was in the floor. There were 3 cases of beer, perishables. There was breakfast meat, stuff like that in bags that you could just see sitting there. And then immediately to the right is a formal dining room that had a large amount of long guns laying there. I think there was a red velvet cake at the end of the table. It's just stuck out. And
So taking into account everything you've witnessed thus far, the circumstances present outside as well as what you observed inside, how are you feeling at this point?
It's terrifying because you don't know if somebody needs some help. I mean, it's just an odd situation. There's nothing downstairs that I'm observing that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we go through houses and we clear houses regularly, and most of the time, if you encounter something, you kind of know right when you get in. This was a very different situation because once we get upstairs, it's like the world does a 180. Okay. Everything gets turned upside down.
Is your service weapon drawn upon initially entering into the residence? Okay. Is that normal protocol?
It is. It's through our training.
Okay, so now we are at the foyer. You mentioned seeing groceries that were left there with perishables in them, or in the bags.
Yes.
The fact that there's groceries with perishables in the bags, did that alarm you as a law enforcement officer?
It did. It's obvious that somebody started a task and they've not finished it. Most people put their groceries up when they get home, especially the items that need to go into a refrigerator or freezer.
Okay. So at that point, do you decide to go up the stairwell, sir?
I do, and I take point and begin going up the stairs.
And when you say you take point, describe what you mean by that.
I get in front of everybody and start clearing the stairwell to try and get an eyeball of what's above us to see if there's anybody that's obviously in duress and to make sure there's nobody in there that's going to hurt us. During this time, there's a dog that's barking, and the dog will bark and bark and bark, and then the dog stops barking. That was odd to me. Most dogs, when they bark and you're in their territory, they continue barking. This dog was stopping. He was kind of whimpering at times.
Okay. And are you simultaneously identifying yourself or attempting to identify?
God knows how long.
Okay. So you made it to the stairs, sir. Does anything change once you reach about halfway up the stairwell?
Once you come up the first set of steps, you're able to go up like 3 steps and you can see down the hallway. You get a purview of that, and immediately when I turned, the stairwell is
Let's
when
stay on the stairwell. Excuse me for cutting you off. It's important that we get in every detail. But on the stairwell, is there anything present on the walls or railings that alarms you as a law enforcement?
There is. There's reddish brown staining that's consistent with blood staining that I've observed at other crime scenes. Okay. Would appear to be blood on the wall, and then I was able to see down the hall and see what was directly in front of me, and I think I asked if people had gloves on to put gloves on just for exposure risk.
And once you see the reddish-brown staining that you believe to be blood present in the stairwell, does how you're interpreting the scene change at all?
The overall goal, and I don't know if I understand the frame of the question. The overall goal is we have to go through that house and do our job.
This guy reminds
to
me
make
of somebody,
sure
and I
if there's
can't put my
in
finger
there
on
that
it, like a celebrity.
we can help, that we render aid.
Okay.
So as we're going through the stairwell, and as these other events are occurring, and as I'm observing other things, the end result is not going to change. Once the decision was made to go in, we're going to go in and make sure that people are okay if they're inside.
Okay. Now let's go to the gate. You make it through the gate, and do you observe anything immediately after you make it through the gate at the top of the stairs?
I observed what appeared to be clothing and sharp instruments and some kind of bucket. I don't know what it was. It was a bucket. There was something else present with the clothing and what appeared to be reddish brown staining on the floor, the wall. It's going all over the place, and you can see straight down the hall. And I saw hands not connected to a body.
Okay.
And at that point, we held the other officers held the hallway, and we started doing standard building clearing. And at that point in time, it's a training thing, and we communicate a little bit, but not much. But I made the decision to turn and go into what eventually I'd learn is the master bedroom.
Okay. So before you go into the bedroom, you observe what you believe to be human hands present down the hallway, which
Yes.
again, is that the exercise room?
Yes.
Okay. And upon viewing those hands, does that change how you're feeling at all?
It's gut wrenching, and it's something that I've never experienced before.
At
in-
this
in a
point,
crime
do
scene.
you suspect that something's wrong?
Absolutely.
Okay. You mentioned that you broke off right and you went into the master bedroom. Tell us about what the details of what you observed inside that master bedroom before you get to the master bathroom.
When you go in, there was like plastic drop cloth type material or something, a roll of plastic on the bed, and I remember the bed was made, and then there were items scattered on the floor in a general area to my left. As I went in, the door opened. You go straight into the bedroom, and to the left, in the center of the wall, is the master bed. And then there's a lot of space in the room. It's a large room, and there were items on the floor scattered that would later be collected and documented. And I went straight to what would have been my next threat area at this point, which would have been the bathroom.
And before we get into the bathroom, the materials that were on the floor that we've seen in the pictures thus far, a wide array of tools and lights and such,
Correct.
did that alarm you at all as a law enforcement officer? How did you perceive seeing those items on the floor?
I had absolutely no idea what I was walking into.
Okay. So you made it through the master bedroom. Let's talk about what you experienced in the master bathroom.
I went in the master bathroom, and the only thing I saw were two tubs with what appeared to be body parts liquefying.
Yeah, how do you even say that?
Did you have occasion to notice if there was a heater on in that bathroom, sir?
It was hot in there. It was hotter in there than most places. I didn't look at the heater at that time, General.
Okay. Did you have occasion to notice any sort of
The
knives
smell with the
present
heat would
in
make
that
me
bathroom?
instantly
There were
throw
knives,
up.
yes.
It just would.
And
I'd have
you
no
had a
control
chance to
over it.
watch the video. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
At some point, you can be heard saying, "Oh my God!" And what is that in response to?
It's in response to what I saw.
Okay. And after you see that, how has this changed your welfare check at this point?
We obviously there's something that's occurred here, and the number one thing I want to do at this point is A, make sure that we're preserving the crime scene, B, ensuring that there's nobody else inside the residence that needs help. So in doing so, we had to clear the rest of the residence, And then I notified my supervision and started crime scene and the regional forensic center and all that.
Okay, so once you instruct folks to back out at some point after you make your observation in the master bathroom?
Yeah, remember that in the video.
As
As soon as he sees it,
was
he's like,
shocking,
we gotta get
yes,
the hell
I
out of
did.
here.
And this is after you've observed what you believe to be human hands in the exercise room?
Yes.
Okay. And did you retreat the same way that you entered into the residence?
Yes. The number one goal is when you determine that when it's obvious a crime is committed, you try and have one way in and one way out so that you can maintain as much integrity of a crime scene as you can. It's good to designate points of entry and points of exit, and it was most advantageous for us to go out the way we came.
Okay. And did you clear every room in the residence at that point, or
No.
did you leave some unclear?
Thanks,
We
Donna
left
Duke.
some unclear. Where the dog was located actually turned out to be the laundry room, and out of an abundance of caution, I made sure that we had enough personnel to safely clear the room. Again, we didn't know what it was. We didn't know where the room was or what was in that room. We didn't know if somebody was in there. And upon getting enough people there, we made sure that there wasn't anybody, and there wasn't. We got the dog out, and somebody helped him. I'm not sure which officer.
So the first entry, you're with.
This is an argument to why police officers should be allowed, at least giving them the option of wearing basketball shorts in case they have to go into any kind of situation like this. Instantly would not be as hot as they could be.
Yourself and three other
like that.
people are accompanying you, is that?
Yes.
And you do not clear at least one room.
Correct. We hold an area. The theory is you can back out, clear, and hold what you've got until you get enough people there to safely go back up and determine what's going on.
Okay.
It's easier for us to, and safer for all parties involved, especially on the what ifs. If there's somebody in there, our number one goal is everybody's safety in this situation.
Okay. And going back to the upstairs, I'm sorry to jump around a little bit, but is the heat, are you experiencing more heat upstairs than you are downstairs?
It's hotter upstairs than downstairs.
And how about the odors or presence of chemicals?
It's I'll never get those smells out of my head or my dreams.
Okay.
Fuck.
So
or my
you
dreams.
retreat the same way that you've come in, sir.
Yes.
And
Fuck,
at some
that's
point,
heavy,
do you
dude. That is heavy.
get enough number of law enforcement personnel to re-enter that residence?
I do.
Okay. And who was with you at that point?
I believe I had people from the unit from major crimes. There were some additional patrol supervisors there that showed up, and some patrolmen, and a group of us went up, stacked up, and made announcements and cleared the room.
Okay. And when you say stacked up, what are you referring to?
I'm sorry. We get in a line basically in that situation, take positions to where if something happens, we have some form of either cover or concealment, and we opened the door and determined that there was just the dog in there.
Okay. So at this point, everyone's aware of what is present in the residence based on your initial entry.
Yes.
Okay. Do you ultimately go back upstairs and secure the room with where the dog was barking?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you find in that room, sir?
The dog, the room with the dog.
Yes, sir.
It was the washer and dryer, I believe. I'm not sure what else was in that room.
And if you could describe the dog's behavior when you took possession of him.
He was tired. I've not been around that dog.
He's
I don't
probably
know
like,
the dog
Jesus
normally.
Christ,
But
finally,
he
you
was
assholes, I heard
thirsty.
you out there.
There was no water in there or anything. I mean, and he would be up and barking, and then he would just stop. It was just.
Okay. At some point, do you go back to the downstairs, particularly the kitchen area? And at some point, do you have cause to inspect the contents of the pot?
Yes, the contents of the pot. It was determined that there was a head, a severed head in the pot.
And did you observe the contents of that pot?
I
on
did.
The 28th. Okay. So after the residence has been sufficiently cleared, crime scene has been set up. Are you working to look at any relevant pieces of evidence that you may find within the residence?
Yes, the next step in this process is obviously
Yeah,
begin an
Kelly.
investigation into what occurred. It's to identify pieces of evidence that we need to take so that we can, as a group, it's a group effort. It's not just me working the case. There's other detectives, there's other units that all assist, from forensics to cyber. And what we do is we identify evidence, we note its location, it's bagged and tagged appropriately through their protocols, and then we go through each room to ensure that, whatever is available as far as information to us, we can see that, observe that, and learn from it.
And before the crime scene goes to picking up physical pieces of evidence and documenting the crime scene through the use of video and photographs, were you present when the actual the remains of Lisa Guy and Joel Guy Sr. were removed from the residence?
The entire process took a while. There were other, we had to pull out due to the dangers of the toxicity or something like that. They didn't want anybody else in the house except the people that could be in the hazmat suits. Okay. So I was present during that time and also attempting to coordinate information in terms of identifying, finding out next of kin, and trying to get the story of what happened.
Okay. And excuse the question, but are you aware of how the body parts were physically removed from the tubs and what was done with the liquid that was in the tubs?
To my knowledge, the liquids were placed in some type of container that is approved by the EPA in dealing with biochemical components. As far as what happens when they put that on the truck and how that was handled, that I do not know. And as far as the body removal, I know that the Regional Forensic Center would have, they were in there to get the pieces out and put them in whatever storage containers they were using.
Okay. And I want to talk to you now about kind of how you went about identifying a possible suspect in this case and what measures you took and what led you ultimately to Joel Guy Jr.
Audio get weird. Let me fix that real quick for you guys. I apologize. Boom, boom. Well, I've got it paused here real quick. Kelly just came through this son of a bitch and passed out a 5-spot passing the plate. Let's go. Yeah, thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it.
I'm present in the court today. If you would talk to us first about
Yo,
any sort of
Lakota.
relevant evidence
Good morning.
at the crime scene.
When I was able to go back into the house, there's an upstairs bathroom that had a Walmart bag in it. The Walmart bag had a receipt in it, and I literally got the information off of the receipt and went to Walmart to try and figure out who had made a purchase, because Walmart is known in the law enforcement community to have cameras everywhere in their stores. They have cameras outside, especially the Parkside Walmart. So I got the information off of the receipt that was inside that bag on upstairs, and went to the Walmart where that data was pulled by the individual that was working loss prevention that night. We're able to observe it then and then fill out the formal request forms to go through the registered agent that produces those formally. But it was a starting point for the investigation, and that's where the video of Mr. Guy Jr. at the Walmart making the purchase. I believe it was on the 26th during the 3 o'clock hour. That's where that video was found and observed, and that's where we also learned the tag on his vehicle. Upon contact with the daughter, Michelle Dennison, now Tyler, I learned that Joel was also in town for Thanksgiving over the holiday. There were no other people that she knew of that were staying at the residence or spending the night there or visiting from out of town. That they had done Thanksgiving and left. She described in pretty good detail the vehicle, which I observed in the Walmart video with the Louisiana tag, and in that having that.
Hold on, the birthday girl just swung through here. Also, I wished you happy birthday earlier, but if you did not see it or hear it, Sarah, happy birthday! And she also gave $5 on her birthday. Just popping by to say hi. We'll watch the replay when I'm home later. Thank you for the birthday love on Twitter, y'all. Yeah, happy birthday. Show her some love. That's fucking awesome. And yeah, have a great day. That's cool as hell. I'm glad you came through here today, Sarah. And then I've got to pause here also. Dinah Doe 420 is unbelievable. Thank you so much. Pass the plate. Love y'all. $2 holler. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Let me give you some love here.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Huh? Telling like it is, baby.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Don't mess around this morning on Murder Church. Good morning, Megan. Thanks for coming through here. Appreciate it. But yeah, happy birthday, Sarah. Have an awesome day.
Acknowledging it.
Oh, shit. Well, we got it paused. Hell's bells. Passing the plate. $2 more in. Threw it in there right as I was get to go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Hold on. Thank you so much, Hell's bells. Appreciate it.
Information combined with the obvious interpretation of the scene, we move forward with the investigation.
And so that's one receipt that was recovered from the upstairs guest bathroom.
Oh, nice.
Caused to come across
Thanks, Amber.
another receipt from the groceries downstairs.
Yeah, in the groceries, it was either the groceries or Lisa Guy's purse, where the receipt was located for the large purchase, and I did the same thing. The information was relayed to Walmart personnel, and a video was produced. Could there be multiple pieces of evidence or just one? I have to do dual layers.
If you would, sir, tell us what we're looking at.
This is the, I'm sorry. This is the Walmart receipt that was located upstairs in the, what would be labeled the guest bathroom, detailing a date of 11/26/16 with a time of 15:35:25, which would be 3:35 p.m. and 25 seconds after 3:35. Detailing information on the receipt to include items that were recovered inside the residence at 11434 Golden View.
And sir, does it tell on that receipt how the items were paid for?
They were paid for using cash tendered was $40. No, sir. Your Honor. Multiple pieces or one? Okay.
I'm going to show you what's been entered as State's Exhibit 358, sir. You could open this.
The purse collected from 11434 Golden View. There is still some cash remaining in the bag.
And is this where the second receipt is found from the large grocery purchase?
I believe so, sir.
And were there also receipts found for PetSmart on the same day?
Yes, there were.
Referring first to the Walmart receipt, sir, if you could tell us the identifiers.
Oh shit, Shannon. Yeah, let me check that out.
The transaction occurred. It's at the bottom of the receipt. It was this one is an older receipt. This is November 12th, 2016. This is a receipt that she had in there. And here's one from November 26, 2016 at 12:18, 18 minutes after noon at the 10,900 Parkside Drive, Walmart, detailing the items purchased are consistent with what was observed and documented at the Golden View address in the foyer. There's also various other receipts from other days that were in her purse, and then there's also a what appears to be a grocery list written on a note: beer, bacon, sausage, Ben & Jerry's, pistachio, dog snacks, Gain, OxyClean, and stain remover.
Just the
Is that
list.
consistent with the groceries that you observed through the front door?
There, yes,
Yeah,
there are
so
some
is
of
the
that.
list she
There's
actually
some
went
of that in
shopping
there,
with?
yes.
Thank you, sir.
Bastard. I can't wrap my head around like getting to the point of, yeah, this is gonna work. This is gonna be fine. I'm gonna be rich as shit soon. You gotta be fucking delusional. Really fucking delusional to think that you're gonna get away with something like this in this manner.
Folks, we got a little bit ways further to go with this witness. We haven't had a break in a while, so let's go ahead and take a short recess. Do not discuss this case among yourselves or with anyone else. You may leave your notebooks and chairs. I'll see you here in about 10 minutes. All right, everyone, you may be seated. Does the state waive the call, jury?
Stay with
Defense waive the call? Yeah. All right, well.
Keeping it rocking and rolling here, guys. But real quick, let me show some love here to all the people that come through here this morning and showing love to not only me but also Gypsy. Hell, fuck yeah. Let me go back up here just a little bit. When Sarah came through here again, I just want to wish her happy birthday. Happy birthday, Sarah. Enjoy your day. Have a great one. That's awesome. I have to remember that. April 7th, 2024. I will totally forget. I'm terrible. I need to write that down. Hell's Bells coming through right after the $2 passed into play. Thank you so much, Hell's Bells. Boom, boom. And then we got Gypsy Snacks 5 coming through. Poke Mom. Let's go. Let's go.
Respect my house.
That's right. That's right. And then Ned coming through. Happy birthday, Sarah. Telling Sarah happy birthday, which is awesome. And Ned's also been up in here for 4 months chilling, hanging and banging.
Happy anniversary.
For 4 months now. That's freaking awesome. And then Shannon also 6 months. 6 months.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Oh yeah, I took that one off.
Happy anniversary.
Cut that one. And then also sending $10 through a Venmo for Gypsy. Thank you also, Shannon, for that. Gypsy's going to enjoy that. And then Defense Attorney Meow figured that son of a bitch out, sent $2. Boom. Thank you, Pastor Steve. No, thank you for hanging out. Seriously. All you guys make it so fun. Worth it coming through here in the mornings.
Hold up.
Otherwise, I'll just be hanging out on here talking to myself about these trials. So you guys are awesome. The chats are always amazing. Best community happening is what I think, honestly. Get back up in here.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks for that break.
I think we still got
Detective, you
about-
understand you're still under oath, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Still
you
got a
may
while of this
resume your
video.
direct
We'll keep
examination.
moving.
Thank you. We left off about looking into 2 Walmart receipts that you received from the residents at 11434 Golden View Lane, one for a transaction with Lisa Guy at 1218 and one for a transaction with an unidentified male at this point at 3:35 p.m. Is that correct?
Correct.
And have you had a chance to review those videos prior to testifying today?
Yes.
He's already in. At this point, I need to publish the contents of Exhibit 348, being the video on November 26, 2016 with Lisa Guy.
Hey, dark humor is fully allowed here. I think that's how we cope a little bit.
Before directing your attention to the
Honestly.
board there, is this the same video that you observed on the 26th of November 2016?
It's the same video from the 26th, yes.
And looking at the contents of the shopping cart, are those consistent with the items that were found in the interior?
Oh, this is sad.
Yes, sir, as well as the receipt located in her purse.
Wow, this is right before she goes back home to be ambushed and murdered. What the fuck, man? A piece of shit. Yeah, it's silly. He left a journal detailing what he was going to
It
do.
appears so, yes.
With
Purse that you see in the shopping
we looked at
cart.
that, I believe, the last episode, and then he wanted the $500,000 life insurance from his parents, and then he wrote that in the journal, and I could only hear, Jay said it last week in the chat, and I could only hear as soon as he wrote that, literally an evil laugh of, and the $500,000 will be all mine. Like, this dude is wild. It's wild.
Yes.
It's silly. We stumbled into this one. Crazy. Lunatic. I think he is, man.
That this guy is wearing, are those consistent with the clothing?
No emotion is shown on this creep's face.
Yes.
Gonna watch this entire transaction here.
Yeah, that's the relevant portion of this video. Did you also obtain video of Miss Lisa Guy exiting the store on 26th of November 2016?
Yes, following that transaction that we just saw.
Here she is leaving again. Just what a wait. It's so shitty. So shitty to think about, man. Dude. I don't know why that shit fucks with me so much when you're seeing like the last moments of people's
Previously
lives.
entered as State's Exhibit
I guess I do know
349,
why
sir.
folks with me so much.
There's a video of, at this point, an unknown individual on November the 26th, 2016. Your Honor, if I could publish that?
He's bored. He's sitting there bored. Oh my God, here he comes into the same Walmart.
What are we looking at, sir?
I couldn't hear you, sir.
Is this the video that you viewed?
Yes, sir, it is.
Is that the same individual who made the transaction that produced the receipt at 3:35 p.m.?
It is, sir, and who was later identified as
Is this
Joel Guy
is this
Jr.
Penguin? Is this the Penguin coming to Walmart? Well, yes, sir, it is. The evil supervillain. About as dumb as like a comic book supervillain, if you want to be real about it. He literally wrote in the book, "It will be all mine. The $500,000 will be all mine."
He's going through the pharmacy, the sections labeled pharmacy, pain, and nicotine section for their camera purposes, and he's in the first aid section. And yes,
I almost cut my finger off decapitating my mother.
The receipt of the items that he purchased consistent with items that were found in the upstairs guest bathroom.
they are, sir.
Just casually doing a little shopping here. You have to watch all of this, of him just shopping. Come on. Get a nice shot of his bald spot there. It wasn't quite full penguin bald spot yet, the whole front going skullet, but then he would eventually work his way into the full skullet look. That was so popular in 2020. Everyone was rocking the skullet, remember? Bald in the front, party in the back. What's up, Joni? Welcome in. Tell him thanks. That's awesome. That's the vibe I got. Like, there was one particular picture that I got hard penguin vibes from. Not all the time, but there was one, and I went with it, and it matched perfectly, I think. Look at his hand, though. Look at his fingers. He did a number on himself there. Frantically going wild. And then from the blood on the wall, it looked like he was just going wild with that knife. So, in the actual moment, and again, no one's just going to let you stab him. There had to be some fighting.
Did you have the occasion to observe Mr. Guy's hands while he was in the store?
On the video, you can see that he has what appears to be bandages covering some type of injury on his right and left hands.
fingers and hands look nasty for sure. Oh yeah, Drew. Thanks, brother. Hope you like them. I think everything coming through now from is quality. Like I think the shirts and the hats are
that is him
quality.
exiting the store with the one bag in a buggy.
Need to get some new merch on there. Need to do some brainstorming and get some ideas going.
This is footage
Crazy,
from the
Caleb.
Walmart parking lot, and you'll be able to observe the defendant's vehicle with the Louisiana registration on the back of it, drive-through. That does capture it.
They're gonna
yes.
find you.
From that
Cameras
image,
are
we were able
everywhere.
to obtain the plate,
Especially when you're this
number,
freaking sloppy,
for the vehicle.
nonchalant about it.
I believe to him, sir.
This one's wild. This one really is interesting.
No, this is pretty significant.
Fell into this by complete accident. Third season of Murder Church.
In the course of your investigation, sir, at some point was a BOLO issued based on the facts you had at the residence, the circumstances you gathered
Hell yeah,
from the family, the sister surviving family, if you will, and the license plate. Were you able to put out a BOLO, sir?
Yes, Be on the Lookout was issued through NCIC, which is a national database, by the Sheriff's Office, detailing the arrest warrant numbers as well as the defendant's description and the vehicle he was known to be operating.
And based on that, did you receive records from Vigilant Solutions?
Yes, sir, we did.
Your Honor, based on a 902 affidavit that we've received and has been approved through the court,
I'm going to show you guys
at this
something
point introduced.
that I don't think is going to, and I apologize for pausing this, but this has just been sent to me. So Gypsy's on some new medicine, and on this new medicine, it's like, it's something that, like, I guess it's an immunocompromising medicine or something. So, I guess it'd be easier for her to be sick from going outside. So I've got to get, and I'm worried about this because she doesn't like stuff like on her. And if anybody has any recommendations in the chat, my ears are open. But Cassie just sent me these, so I have to get her little footsies, like little things for her feet for when we take her outside. So again, she doesn't pick up anything, and it doesn't, if she licks it, I guess, or however it would get inside of her system and maybe get her more sick. So she sent me these. Oh, it's hard to see them because of the green screen. Hold on, let me get in. But these are little, hold on, actually. It's hard to see because of the green screen, but you could see they're little footsies, little booties. You can kind of see it there with the purple ones. Yeah, so I got to get her some little booties. Like that. So I'm hoping that maybe these will work, but she is going to hate that. She is not going to be happy at all about this. But yeah, she's got to be on this new medicine that's hopefully going to help her out. But yeah, Cassie just sent me those, and I am unsure about it. So if anybody in the chat has any recommendations or has to do this themselves, or let me know, because I don't know. Those seem like rubbery. I don't know. I'm worried about it.
5-piece documents that are different in time and date with the defendant's vehicle and license plate number tracking.
I will,
from
CH.
Knoxville, Tennessee, with an accompanying 902 affidavit.
All right, however, as previous objection, the court is going to receive this as an exhibit number on launchback.
Let me look up the name of it real quick. Defense Attorney Meow. See that email here.
On an affidavit from the custodian of the records. Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's been pre-marked as State's Exhibits 643 through 647 for identification, and ask you if you can identify those documents, sir.
These are documents produced by Vigilant Solutions detailing a license plate recognition software that has hit on the subject's license plate.
So at this point, we move in State's Exhibits 643 through 47.
Seven.
Just wondering, what was 640G?
That was the affidavit.
Oh, the affidavit, okay. Previous objection would be 643 through, what was the last one, 647?
647, Your Honor.
Okay.
It has to, this one to publish these.
You may publish.
First exhibit, sir.
Yes, sir.
What's the date on this, this license plate capture?
The capture is in the top right corner. It says vehicle spotted, and it's going to be for November 29th, 2016 at 7:34 a.m. Central Time.
And the nearest address, sir?
Oh, wow, does he? Interesting.
I-59, and I cannot actually see that writing. In Pachuta.
Is that better, sir?
Yes.
And what state?
Missouri, I believe? Mississippi.
Mississippi?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. The next exhibit, what time and what date is the license plate of Joel Michael Guy Jr.'s?
That's awesome, Patricia.
That is the same, it's 11/29/16 at 7:04 a.m. Central Time, and the closest location is going to be in Meridian, Mississippi. It's on a highway, 106, Highway 11 and 80.
And the next time the vehicle registered to Joel Michael Guy Jr. was spotted?
11/28/16 at 1:05:31 a.m. Central Time.
And what's the closest?
Heidelberg, Mississippi. Nearest intersection is I-59 County Road 333.
Okay. And next time that and these are in no particular order, the next time that the vehicle registered to Joel Michael Guy Jr. is spotted?
11/28/16 at 12:31:06
They'll follow
a.m.
you all the way.
In Meridian, Mississippi. Nearest intersection is I-20 and U.S. Highway 11.
And the next is a time where a vehicle registered to Joel Michael Guy Jr. is spotted?
It's 11/23/2016
I can't help but think about
at 1:29:17
what we're gonna be seeing in the Brian
p.m.
Koberger
Central
case.
Time in Moselle,
Looking at stuff like this, though,
Mississippi.
I'd imagine it's
on
going to be
I-59.
sort of similar with the tracking of the car.
The 28th is the first day
Oh, this
the
fucking
Knox
guy.
County Sheriff's Office
This fucking guy. You want to fight me? Let's go. I'm coming back there, you son of a bitch. Oh, come on, calm down. Sorry.
to 11434 Golden View Lane. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay. On
have
the
a bad neck
29th, sir,
anyways. What am I gonna do?
were you contacted by Academy Sports?
We were through the BOLO we had put out. We were given an alert.
And what was the basis of the alert, sir?
Basis of the alert was an attempted firearms purchase at an Academy Sports.
Okay. And by whom, sir?
Joel Michael Guy Jr.
And was the alert subject of the same date, the 29th?
I believe I would have to reference that. I believe so, though. I believe we got it fairly quick. Typically, when people attempt to purchase a firearm at a sporting goods store, you have to fill out paperwork, and that paperwork's submitted, and they do some type of background check to ensure that you can, in fact, purchase a firearm. And I believe that's when the alert came.
Okay. And at this point, based on the circumstance, totality of what you've seen at the scene, the physical evidence at the scene, videos that you observed, has a arrest warrant charging Joel Michael Guy Jr. with first-degree murder been issued?
It had been issued, yes, sir, already prior to the firearms purchase attempt.
He's like, so close. Damn, I was so close.
And sir, do you see Joe Michael Guy Jr. present in the courtroom today?
He is here, yes, sir.
If you'd point him out.
It's that dumb son of a bitch
record of
sitting
Michael
right
Police
over there that
identified
sort
Joe
of
Michael Guy
favors
Jr.
the penguin.
And the events you testified to today, they occur here in Knox County.
They did.
We'll pass the witness round.
The defense attorney. No further
Yeah,
questions.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you didn't ask any. No questions.
Your Honor. Now, are you?
He's asking a
you
question.
mentioned
Holy
something
shit.
about the lockbox, the realtor lockbox. Are you familiar with them? How they're taken off and put on?
I know typically the realtor will place that on, and there's some type of, depending on the type of box, be a code or something where somebody who can lawfully enter or that would have access to a residence while it's for sale can open that box, obtain a key to the residence, and enter the residence.
Now, going back to when you first arrived at the residence and went to the back door,
Yes, sir.
chemical smells can indicate to an officer danger, right?
They can indicate several things, yes, sir.
But one of them would be danger.
Yes, sir.
For example, a meth lab could be explosive, literally.
It did not smell like a meth lab.
No, but still, chemicals can be explosive in general.
Yes, sir.
And you could not identify
Oh
what
shit, my bad. Let me get in here and fix this for you guys. Boom, 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 boom.
this
boom.
chemical smell was.
It's gotta be an OBS thing,
Okay.
I think.
So, additionally, breathing in unknown chemicals can hurt your lung and throat and area, right?
It can.
Okay. So usually as an officer, you would have to take precautions where you smell chemicals, right?
Sir, I would not have masked up or anything to go in per se. In a perfect world, I would have the materials for that, but I'm not equipped
Sir, this
with
is
that,
Knox
and
County.
We take risks on a daily basis.
Okay. But at the back door, as you kind of noted in your direct, you did not say anything about the chemical smell
I did not.
or about the heat.
No, I didn't. I don't believe I did.
But you, in addition to yourself, you also had a couple other officers, 3, I guess, who were going in with you, right?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't alert them to the chemical smell.
No, sir.
Now, is it possible that this was a pretty traumatic scene? Is that right?
It was very traumatic, yes.
And is it
Understatement,
possible
sir.
that you did not smell the chemicals until you went in the garage?
Sir, my observations at that time remained the same, and my testimony remains the same.
Okay. That's all.
He's like, my angle on this is basically saying, is it possible the parents had a meth lab in there? I'll let you sit on that. I'll let you ponder on that for a moment. Is it possible Joel Michael Guy Jr. is innocent because his parents had a meth lab that exploded? Stay with me here. That exploded and melted everyone. The whole scene was chaotic. Thermostat turned up by the meth lab. Head put on the stove by the meth lab. I don't know. I don't know what happens when an explosion happens. I don't know what happened.
5 o'clock, a few minutes after. Thank you for everything. I appreciate your work.
That was the
We've got
defense
a lot accomplished today. We still have some ways to go. So I'm going to send you home with the same instructions I've given you each time. That is, please do not discuss this case with anyone, family members or friends. Avoid any media coverage of this case, either through TV, radio, internet, or newspaper, and social media as well, too. I know that there is a debate tonight. If you want to watch that, I just encourage you to watch it on some news channel that's not covering local news. You never really know. There could be national news on this. If for some reason a blurb comes up or something on this, hit mute immediately on your TV if you're watching it, or if you're listening to it, and stop what it was that you were hearing, and then just let me know in the morning what it was, and we can address it then as well, too.
Is that mine or is that them? That audio is terrible. That might be them on that one. I don't know. That was extra loud.
One thing that I didn't
I don't
tell
think that's
you
me.
that has never happened in 25 years of my being in criminal justice, is if a juror is approached by anybody to talk about this case, you not only don't talk to them, but you let me know about it. So if somebody comes up to you or calls you and say, hey,
Austin,
I want to talk to you about this
good
case,
morning.
just stop them and then let me know what happened and we can address it. It's never happened before, but we need to give that instruction to folks in case something like that were to happen. One more thing before you leave. There was a time where either a witness said something or an attorney you couldn't hear him, and several people raised their hands. I appreciate that. It was really good. I'm assuming, since I didn't see any other hands any other time, that you are all, especially you folks in the back, able to hear and see everything okay. Is that accurate? All right, I see a bunch of heads shaking no. Did anybody miss anything today, you think? You couldn't hear or see? Wonderful. It's working. All right. Thanks so much, folks. I want you to take your notebooks with you.
I am used to this style of hospitality.
I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Have a good night, folks.
Being
Please
in
go
this
with officers.
neck of the woods.
All right, Mr. Stevens, got an issue, sir?
Yes.
Oh, we got an issue. Hold on.
A couple of times this afternoon, there was a suggestion. It wasn't specific, but there was a suggestion that possibly Mr. Guy has a prior criminal record. I've talked to the general. The general has agreed to stipulate that he doesn't. I forgot to do that this afternoon before we recess, but if we could start tomorrow, I'll try to draft some sort of a brief.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that, Judge. I didn't really intend for that to go that way. I don't know how that happened, and I didn't want to interrupt at the time because but I'm happy to entertain it.
Yeah, I didn't feel like the state was trying to make that inference, and it just got worse on cross-examination. So if the state's willing to stipulate no,
Absolutely.
then I think that's the right way to handle
All
it.
right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Stevens, you will need to remind me tomorrow. I wrote it down, but the odds of me looking
I'll
at
try
that.
to just draft some little one paragraph,
Yeah,
something like
that'd be great.
Thank you.
All right, anything else from defense?
Oh, yeah.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
So
All right,
long this
thanks
next
for your
video
hard
is
work,
here.
everybody. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
So we got another one in us this
Court
morning. We're
adjourned
still a
till
little
then.
early on the old murder church. Got another hour in us. I think we do. FBI Special Agents Robert King and Gary Coleman take the stand outside the presence of the jury. The jury is not around for this one. Okay. They don't want the jury to hear apparently what's going to be happening here. I'm going to cut her real quick because I just want to show some more love to everybody that's come through this morning. Amazing morning here on Murder Church per usual. You guys fucking rule so hard. But here, Jessica for Justice come through, who has been a buzz killer for 3 months. Absolutely amazing. Part of the Buzz Nation out here, baby. Glad to be here with y'all. The defense attorney is doing his best. You're right. I mean, he is. He's cracking me up because what does he have to work with? Literally nothing. He has nothing. This man should not even be here. He's like, dude, just go to the fucking cell. He's like, you obviously did this. Jessica for Justice is going to be streaming a little bit later today over on Kick. Love After Lockup. Make sure you're following there. And then, yes, make sure you're hanging and banging with her a little bit later. Everybody in here again, love you guys so freaking much. What a morning, for real. This has been crazy. Austin coming through here. Austin Rains. Anybody that does not know Austin Rains, you probably do. But Austin Rains, of course, the producer of the greatest true crime shirts in the history of true crime and maybe ever. Thank you so much, Austin, for coming through here. Hope you've been doing good. But yeah, I'm going to give you guys a stinger, a Murder Church stinger, which I need to make a new one. I know. And this one always gets everybody ready to pee. And I think it's going to hit me too because I've been drinking this coffee. Morning. It's morning.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
More church bells, everybody. Couple extra church bells this morning. All right. Let's keep rocking and rolling. I do believe I'm going to have to go upstairs in a moment and use the bathroom. So, hell yeah. Love it. Thanks, you guys. Keep rocking and rolling, baby. We got another hour and 6 in us. I think we do.
The open court every day with a reading from the Constitution.
Oh my God! No, that would actually be amazing. That's me and Cassie've talked about that. I don't have a bathroom down here in my studio/basement, and I got an area over here. I don't know what the plumbing situation will be or how much it would cost, but I have an area over here. It's basically like a closet. I think we take this wall out a little bit more, or maybe just see what, I don't know. That would be fucking dope. That would be sweet. So
Tennessee Constitution, Article 11 says the legislature shall have no
drink this
power to
backwards.
authorize
That would have
lotteries
been
for any
terrible.
purpose, and shall pass laws to prohibit the sale of lottery tickets in the state, except the legislature may
I wear this.
authorize
This is part of my
state
regular
lotteries
fashion.
if the net
Austin.
proceeds of the lottery's revenues are allocated to provide financial assistance to citizens of the state.
Johnny, good morning.
To enable such citizens to attend
Jenny Buzz Nation, that's
secondary
damn right.
educational schools. And
If you're not following
plays
Jay,
out
make sure you're following Jay, which I'm sure everybody is
how we can
following.
have
The man.
a,
See if his thing
lottery.
works.
So we say lotteries
There
are
we
bad,
go.
but if you're
Follow
doing
him
it for
all over
this,
the place.
it's over.
All right, guys, I will be right back.
Today,
I'm going upstairs.
All our jurors are here. General, are you ready to resume your proof, or do we have any preliminary matters? Any preliminary matters?
Again, I think that is the audio in this. I'm going to do a quick fix, but I don't think that's me. I think when the judge is speaking, I think that's in his mic, and when we actually have the people on the stand, it's not as bad. I need it. I need it, Kelly.
From the fence.
I'm going to fix it, though, but I think it's...
Your Honor, I did want to ask the court to reconsider the order that you had entered, or your ruling in the Michael McCracken phone call. I don't mean to misrepresent the court's order, but as I recall, the court's order was that in light of the fact that you had been made aware, your first order, you didn't understand that the state had that call in its possession for over 3 years. That information came to your attention after you had entered the order, so you entered an amended order, at which point you pointed out that the tape recording had been in my possession for about 4 weeks. Actually, it was 3, but we're not really splitting hairs. I think we got it on the 22nd. We started trial on the 20th. Well, we got it on the 2nd. We started trial on the 24th. So it's 3 weeks and a day. But the court said that really there's not, and here I'm paraphrasing, so I might be misrepresenting the court's intention here, but I took it as there's not a whole lot in that tape. There's no smoking gun, as the court referred to it. And therefore, in light of the fact that I'd had it for 4 weeks and there's really no smoking gun in it, the court didn't find that it was prejudicial for us to have to deal with it going forward. And I would just ask, in light of the fact that McCracken doesn't live in Tennessee, he's an out-of-state witness, it would have been very difficult for me in a 3-week period as we're trying to put the final touches on preparing for trial to make contact with him. Mr. McCracken is not somebody who's anxious to be interviewed, so a phone call to him, I did not make a phone call to him, but I'm confident that a phone call to him would have fallen on deaf ears and I would not have been able to make contact with him. And we think the content of that phone call suggests something different than there's no smoking gun. We think it is highly harmful and prejudicial to us as it provides a motive for the state. And I'm confident that we'll hear about that phone call in closing argument as it ties up their motive for why this all happened. And so we believe that it is critical. We believe it's highly prejudicial. We believe that having it for, in what's nearly a 4-year period, having been given it for about 3 weeks, to no fault of the state, no fault of either of these prosecutors, but nevertheless, the state was in possession of it, and I think we should have been given, and I think we're prejudiced by the fact that we have to move forward. So I'd ask the court to reconsider.
Thanks, sir. Joe, anything you want to add?
I would just say that Mr. McCracken had his phone number, they have his phone number, he could have called him. He talked to me, he was not what I would call a happy witness. He was not very cooperative, but he would give a lot of information, he was volunteer information. And we have limited this phone call to this excerpt. We tried very hard to eliminate anything that would be prejudicial to Mr. Guy. And we have agreed not to ask Mr. McCracken to protect the call on the reception floor. So we're not going to go into that. And we're going to have him talk about his knowledge of how he knows Mr. Guy, how long they've known each other, That's his voice on, he recognized his voice on the call, and that is his voice, his own voice on the call. So I'll just without him.
Yeah, that static is brutal.
As I stated in the amended order, I did misunderstand what the state was saying. I thought that it was in law enforcement possession in Baton Rouge until recently. Then
I couldn't hear her either.
Was informed by the state that I misunderstood that, and I appreciate them correcting that misunderstanding. It was in Knox County from very early on, and certainly was subject to discovery. It's not a situation, though, where it's being turned over in trial. I know 3 weeks compared to 4 years is not a significant period of time at all, but there was time to follow up on him. And what I meant by there's no smoking gun, I think Mr. Guy was being careful, very careful about what he was saying to avoid making any type of admission against interest, or certainly no confessions in there. There are certainly statements that could be perceived to be incriminating, so I do think that there's a significant relevance to it. And what I meant by smoking gun is it just didn't go so far as like this is going to completely change the entire theory of the defense or the theory of the state.
Shit. Real quick, Law and Order Amber came through and bought a beer on Ko-Fi for us. Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Amber. Appreciate that. Let me give you, I don't know if anybody knows this. She's got her own song. Whoa. Amber is the color of your energy. Whoa.
As I said,
thank you, Amber. Appreciate
on,
that.
It's easier for me to make these evidentiary decisions once I know what the defense theory is. And at this point, I'm still traveling under the position that it's an identity issue, that he didn't do these crimes, because the proof that someone did this is overwhelming, and I don't think it's being disputed by the defense. So it really makes issues about whether or not he's the person who did this and what his intention was, if he did it, highly relevant. And so even though it's incriminating, I don't think it's unfairly prejudicial. So I am going to let them play it.
Thanks, Amber.
If they brought it forward in the middle of the trial, I think that would be a little bit different to me than something that was provided at least 3 weeks before.
I've got 5 more, and I'm going to do this now also because I fucking want to, but I've got 5 more memberships that I'm going to gift out. There's some lurkers hanging out here. I know it, and we're going to see who's going to grab some of these, because you get 10 of these to give out a month. Always freaking forget about it. While I'm thinking about it, while we got some people hanging out in here, I'm going to give out 5 more of these things just because it's been an absolutely great morning, and we're starting April off right, baby. Who's going to grab those? Let's see. Here we go. Who's getting them? Who's getting them? Who's getting them? Huh?
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Who's getting these things? I'm about to read them out.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Patricia Burns grabbed one. Drew P. Gambino grabbed one of these. Citizen Sleuth grabbed one out there lurking. Heather Honey grabbed one out there. And Julie Moran, let's go. Welcome in here, baby. We not fucking around this morning on Murder Church. We not messing around this morning on Murder Church.
This is gun country.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Huh? Huh? Getting wild now.
Respect my house.
Getting crazy. Oh, there they are. The flooding of beers and hell yes and Murder Church and new members coming through the Buzz Nation, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Get in here. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. Absolutely insane morning here. Hell yeah. Thank y'all so much.
The trial
Coffee got me hyped.
It was a phone call the
City
defendant
Kitty
made to somebody he was in a relationship with. And so I know it's not the defense responsibility to ask their client, who all did you talk to from the jail? But it was not a surprise to Mr. Guy if it was a surprise to his attorneys. So I'm going to maintain my ruling and allow the state to play the redacted portions.
I'm not even paying attention to any of this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, just along that same call, and we would just like to preserve for the record, as you know, we challenged the search of the house in Knoxville and also the arrest of Mr. Guy. We were overruled on both of those. We want to preserve for the record our argument that this call could be or would be fruit of the poisonous tree of both those things. Had Mr. Guy not been arrested on the faulty warrant, he wouldn't have been in jail making the call. They wouldn't have gotten the faulty warrant but for the illegal search of the Knoxville house. So we just want to make sure that when we come back on appeal, if we do, no one will say that we waived the fruit of the poisonous tree argument.
I certainly don't think that you're waiving. I disagree with it, but I think you have done a good job, Mr. Halstead, in preserving the record. I understand the objection.
And I would also say, I don't know if we're going to see the Louisiana officers about the arrest today, but, okay. I just want to make sure that they don't ask whether Mr. Guy was asked to make a statement. He asserted his right to counsel, so I assume we won't be going there in terms of the discussion.
I don't think there'd be any comments on his invocation of his rights.
Absolutely. Have tried to admonish every witness repeatedly to avoid any reference to the Baton Rouge search. That's
Or him saying,
Yes.
I want to talk to a lawyer.
absolutely.
All right. Preliminary matters from the state.
Your Honor,
He just
sir,
did
I
that
have a
weird,
brief matter.
well, the way he
had
drinks
Eddie
water. I
Wasserman
wish I had a bottle here
yesterday,
with
and
me.
We went through
He
his
just goes,
report.
I
page
can't even
by
do it because
page,
my
and I
neck's so fucked up, but he
overlooked,
just tosses
admitting
his
the
head
report.
back.
I would ask to late
He's,
file that.
he
as-
can't even drink water normally. Look at his little, he's over there trying to, this guy is an alien inside of a human suit. I'm telling you, he's one of those fucking people that should not be here. He's trapped here. He's fucked around. Watch the way he drinks this water, and then watch what he's doing after he drinks this water.
Repeatedly to avoid
He's not
any reference
one of
to the
us.
Baton Rouge search. That's
Watch this. He's already like, I'm a little parched.
Yes.
I'm a little parched. Let me just get a little sip.
Preliminary matters from the state.
That's the
Your Honor,
noises
sir,
it
I have
makes
a
when he
brief matter.
drinks it.
We
Now watch
had Eddie
this.
Wasserman on yesterday, and we went
Watch
through
this.
his,
He's not
report
human.
page by page.
It's like, oh,
and
that's
I
not going all the way
overlooked,
down. Like a
admitting the
normal
report.
person
I
would
would
just,
ask to
I
late
gotta
file that
push
as
the
the
water
next
down.
state's exhibit.
He's
I'm talking
pushing the
about-
water down his throat.
It is the
Fucking
what he
freak,
testified to
dude. He's not
yesterday,
one
the
of us. He is an
contents of the,
alien
2 cell phones
from
and
hell.
desktop computer were.
Like the Cellbrite report.
That's it, Your Honor, the financial transaction. It's not a Cellbrite report. I think it was a UFED report, but I didn't introduce the actual UFED examination.
13 months. Holy shit.
Are there any objections to?
Over a year. That's amazing.
We do not agree that they can file this now, so we object for the record.
I got you. Yeah, I'm going to let you recall him if you want to get that in. I don't want to just add it to his testimony, but I will let you recall him just for the sole purpose of having him say this is my report.
Yes, Your Honor. Thanks, sir.
All right.
Do you want to take up the issues with these Louisiana officers before the jury comes in? Because we're going to go pretty
He takes it
quickly.
like a shot.
This is
And-
about the search issues.
No,
and
no,
that
it's
was governed.
it's about the videos that we were intending to offer
Telling you.
through their testimony.
From Walmart.
Imagine if this dude and the guy that we did on the Cohee guy that we did on Tuesday's show from Colorado. Imagine if him and old guy here teamed up. Imagine if somehow in the world on planet Earth they somehow teamed up and got together and decided, oh, we're gonna go around killing people. Oh my God!
I think that we're okay on the Walmart because we have.
It wouldn't last long. They're both
and
fucking so stupid, but
what we
still.
believe is a sufficient affidavit. Special Agent, he's retired now, but Special Agent Robert King with the FBI went to that Walmart and collected the video. We have the affidavit from the records custodian, which the court has approved. But he also participated in collecting video from Lowe's and Home Depot. The Lowe's was in Gonzales, Louisiana, and we have an affidavit from a Lowe's representative who is not from Louisiana, but who is a Lowe's records custodian who reviewed the material. But I think we would also need Robert King's testimony to discuss how he went. Now, all of the witnesses know they're not to make reference to anything that came from the Baton Rouge search. We just believe that they can testify that as part of their investigation and assisting Knox County law enforcement, they went to this particular store. We have a similar situation with Louisiana State Police Officer Jerry Coleman, who participated in getting a video from the Dan Boudreaux's Ace Hardware store. As Your Honor knows, we introduced evidence yesterday that A note was found in a suitcase in the guest bedroom of the Guy residence referencing Dan Boudreaux's Ace Hardware and number 2 sewer line cleaner. It's in Napoleonville, Louisiana, which is an outlying area around Baton Rouge. Based upon that, we believe that there would have been, and I think the court has ruled that the video from that would have been inevitably discovered. Mr. Boudreaux is an older man. He sent in an affidavit. The defense objected to the contents of it because some of it was testimonial, because he talked about his conversations with TFO Coleman. They've had some bad weather down there and a lot of problems. So he apparently is sending me. I've been told for the last 2 weeks that they are sending me this new affidavit. As of this morning, I haven't received it, but I do have the old one, and I have Agent Coleman here to talk about, what he did in response to the information that he got from Knox County. He has, of course, been instructed not to make reference to any receipts that were found in the defendant's apartment.
Oh, shit. Amber bought me a bunch of beer, sending $10 earlier. Thank you so much, Amber. And then while I'm also looking at it here, you guys have been crazy this morning. Drew coming through the old shop and bought a Murder Church beanie and a Murder Church Before Adulting shirt off the shop. Hell yeah, Drew. Really appreciate that, guy. Seriously, man. That's awesome.
So we would like to, I would like to make an offer of proof with respect to these agents, but rather than putting them on in front of the jury. That could be prejudicial, look like the defense is trying to keep something from the jury's knowledge. So
let's go ahead and do your offer of proof before we get started with them.
Okay.
He was. Creep-y. They're really two different kinds of creep factors, but
I'm not sure if you're just coming around here to the witness stand.
very similar at the same time.
Will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony
God.
you're about to give in the case now on trial will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you God?
I do.
Please have a seat, sir. Once you're seated, you may remove your mask.
Thank you.
We called you in here before the jury arrives just so we can do an offer of proof. So Attorney Jones is going to ask you a few questions.
Thank you, Your
Offer
Honor.
of proof.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you state your name for the record, please?
It's Robert King, K-I-N-G.
And Mr. King, can you tell the court where you were employed and what your duties were back in November and December of 2016?
I was a special agent with the FBI, and I was assigned to the New Orleans Division's Baton Rouge resident agency.
Okay. Now, Agent King, you are aware that we are not making reference to anything that was taken from the Baton Rouge search of Joel Guy's apartment?
Yes.
You've been made aware of that?
Correct.
And also that we're not to make any reference to the fact that Mr. Guy, within his rights, reserved his right not to speak to law enforcement. So
yes,
you're
ma'am.
aware of that. Okay. So my questions are, once you received information from Knox County Sheriff's Office employees, and I believe you were also working in concert with Scott Henning with the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office, is that correct?
Correct. We involved them when we were attempting to locate the subject so we could arrest him, and since it was in their parish, we contacted them and kind of worked jointly.
Did you participate in the defendant's arrest?
Yes.
And on what date did that occur?
I'd have to review the 302.
Does it sound like November the 29th, 2016?
That's roughly correct, yes.
Who was present with you when you arrested him?
We had probably 5 or 6 other agents from the Baton Rouge office and a few people from the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office, and there may have been one LSU police officer there.
Okay. Was Lieutenant Henning with you?
I believe so, yes.
And where did this arrest take place?
At the defendant's outside his apartment,
So
on the
he was
apartment grounds.
outside?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
He came outside, and once he got to the bottom of the stairs and walking towards his car, we arrested him by his vehicle.
Do you mind speaking into the microphone
I'm
a little
sorry.
bit? I'm kind of hard of hearing, so I just want to make sure that I'm understanding you.
Okay.
So when he was placed under arrest, I take it you had an opportunity to observe his appearance?
Yes.
And had you looked at any photographic evidence of his appearance before making this arrest? I mean, how did you know that it was him?
We had pictures that the sheriff's office here had sent down to us to look at, so we were working off of those. And then when he came out, he looked basically like his pictures as far as I can remember that we had.
Okay.
That's
How
him.
long would you say you had an opportunity to observe his appearance when you arrested him?
It was a good while. After he was arrested, he was placed in one of the vehicles to be transported. So it probably 10 or 15 minutes because we took care of him, made sure he didn't have any weapons or anything, put him in the car, and kind of formulated a plan moving forward from there. So he was there and then transported off. So long enough to sit there and see.
As part of your what you did with respect to this investigation and assisting officers with the investigation, did you travel to certain store locations in the Baton Rouge area in the days subsequent to Mr. Guy's arrest?
The Baton Rouge and Gonzales area, yes. And Gonzales is just a suburb of Baton Rouge.
Okay. So on November the 30th, 2016, did you go to a Lowe's department store in Gonzales, Louisiana?
Yes.
And did you interview
Gotta
Charles
go to Lowe's.
Steers,
Yes.
We got a
records
Lowe's.
custodian or a
He was I can't remember his exact title, but he was their security person in charge of cameras and loss prevention
Okay.
for the store.
And while you were there, did you have an opportunity to review any kind of video with him? Okay. And were you able to identify the defendant as the person you observed on that video?
Right. The video that we identified, we were able to see the defendant on there, and once we did that, we asked for them to make a copy so we could take it and provide it to the investigators, which we did.
Okay. And did this video depict the defendant making a purchase on November the 7th, 2016 at approximately 12:40 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. And did it also include a video depicting his exit from the store and his vehicle in the parking lot?
I believe so, because we would ask for, once we found the defendant, the video, we would ask for any other videos associated with that. And since they have multiple cameras, we would try to make sure we had him all the way through the parking lot, the vehicle, and out. And I believe that one did have him getting into a vehicle.
Is obtaining store videos an investigative practice that you have done in the past?
Tons of time. I'm a subject matter expert in child abductions, and we travel a lot, and over the career we obtain a lot of video, and there's so many ways to locate and identify specific videos or specific items. It's not that difficult anymore, especially with the systems that all these retailers have, because they track inventory and where it's placed in the stores. With a little legwork, you can get to pretty much whatever you want.
Are you familiar with Lowe's department stores?
Oh, yeah.
Lowe's home goods stores, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. And you've been to them before. Have you ever obtained video from them before?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you ever obtained video from a Lowe's store in the past?
Yes.
Okay.
Seems like that'd be a regular one
And
for
have you had
police
an
in
opportunity
murder
to
cases.
review the recording
Great,
of
get all the good stuff.
that transaction
To
on
prepare
November the
for a
7th,
murder.
2016 at 12:40 p.m.? Have you had an opportunity to review that recently?
Yes, I did.
And is it the same video that you saw back on November 30th, 2016?
Yes, ma'am, because what we normally do, I would always do, is once we obtain it from the store, it always plays on their players. I get back to the office, I put it in our machines to make sure it works, because sometimes the proprietary software doesn't necessarily work when you leave the store. Make sure it works on ours, and then I send it off.
Okay. And do you have any experience in tracking products using product codes?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell the court a little bit about how that works or how you do that?
Again, I learned that through doing a lot of child abductions. We would find certain items, they would have barcodes of items of interest, and we would start narrowing down, trying to figure out what stores. We'd always start with the big stores and say, hey, is this one of your products? Sometimes their national products are going to be in a lot of stores. Then we would try to refine it based on any other information we had to look. A lot of the stores now, most of them, you can pull up the barcode, they can tell you it's theirs, then they can pull up and say, well, we sold 6 of those over the last 2 weeks, then they can go to those videos from there. One instance, we were able to find a trash bag that's made specifically for one store and only sold at one store. It was something we could do. So with a little work, you can pretty much get there. I mean, there's going to be probably 1 in a million you can't, but with a little work, going from store to store, you could get what you want with a barcode.
So a store bag that identifies the name of the store, that would be one tool that would assist you in narrowing your focus. Is that a fair statement?
It would make your job a lot easier because that would be one of the ones I would start with before we expanded our search.
And in your experience, do certain stores like Home Depot or Lowe's have, or Walmart have products that are exclusive to that particular store?
Yes, I know Walmart does. I believe Lowe's. I think Walmart, great value, may be one of theirs. It's made for Walmart and Sam's exclusively.
Okay. And in respect to this investigation, I believe that you spoke to a Leanne Hildebrandt in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who was a asset protection person in a Walmart in Baton Rouge. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that would have been around December the 7th, 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you use your knowledge of barcodes to help identify a transaction that took place in that Walmart store?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Now, I want to direct your attention to an interview you did on December the 6th, 2016 with Aaron Haskins, who was the multi-store asset protection manager for Home Depot in Baton Rouge. And I want to ask you if you had an opportunity to interview him with respect to your search for any kind of video surveillance evidence connected to Joel Guy.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you review video with Aaron Haskins?
With that one, it took him some time to make us a copy. Our office is maybe a quarter mile from there, so when Mr. Haskin called, I went, picked up the video, looked at it there, make sure it was good. He said if we have any problems, let him know. I took it back to the office again, viewed it on our computer, and then forwarded it to the Knox County Sheriff's Office.
But you did view it at the Home Depot store in
Yes.
Baton Rouge. Okay, and then you reviewed it again at your office to make sure that it was operable.
Now,
correct?
mistakes learned from not doing that early in my career, and you send it off, and then you have to go back and do it again, so yes.
And this would have been the Home Depot store number 3070 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
Yes.
And the transactions were for November the 18th, 2016 at, there were two transactions actually, one at 2:29 p.m. and again at 3:01 p.m. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct.
Okay, and you've had an opportunity recently to review that video again, is that correct?
Yes.
And is it the same video that you saw when you viewed it in your office in Baton Rouge and in the Home Depot store in Baton Rouge back in December of 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Pass the witness.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
So in terms of getting the videos, you actually had, because of the Louisiana search, you had some receipts, correct?
I'm sorry, of which search?
In terms of looking for videos, you had some receipts from the Louisiana apartment search, is that right? Do you recall that?
Your Honor.
This is the jury out hearing. I'm just trying
Okay,
to
I just wanted to
establish-
make sure I didn't
Yeah, I'm
overstep.
sorry.
Okay.
You can say anything.
I'm sorry, I
Want to
should
call
have
us?
been
Let's do
clear.
this again. Yes, sir, we did.
So some of what you're talking about, the barcode searches, weren't actually done in this case, right? Not all of them. The barcode searches.
No, we did barcode searches, but the receipts that we found, there was, of course, item barcodes and stuff. I mean, the receipts had store locations and different things on them, and the items are listed, and then you take that for location, and then you can take other evidence that was obtained at different searches with barcodes, and that helps narrow the search to go, hey, I want to go to Home Depot or Lowe's first, as opposed to every little store in Baton Rouge.
Okay. So let's say that you did not have the receipts. Do you recall looking for the purchases of Sterilite tubs, big blue tubs, that were eventually found having been purchased at a Walmart?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's say that you look at the barcode for those tubs, and that's all you know. That just tells you it's what? What does that tell you?
It'll tell you, it depends on the system and the barcode, how much information they've entered into all these different databases that are public. But when you go there, it has a SKU on it. It says what the item is, item number. So we take that and we would go to a store and find the asset protection manager and go, we're trying to find out if your store sells this specific item with this barcode. And then they look in the system and they'll say, yes, we have that SKU in our system, barcode SKU, or no, we don't. If they don't have it, then we go to the next store. If they do, then that's when we take the next step to say, does your system allow to show when that was sold or where it is in the store? And then we start working from there.
Okay. So let's say that you have these tubs, you have the barcode. So do you have to search every store in Louisiana? Is that what you're saying?
If we didn't find the store, and to be thorough, you would have to keep going and going until you found one. Based on all my experience, like I said, I've done this, look for evidence a lot. Yeah, we always start with the big brand stores, the Walmarts, the Lowe's, and then we would work our way down maybe to the Dollar Generals and that type stuff, depending on the areas.
Okay. And then, so when you find that it was a Walmart store, then you have to check every Walmart store until you find that particular purchase?
Right. If you don't have the receipt with the specific one, for example, if we wanted to say, I'm trying the Walmart, if I went to one, he might say, this is our item, check his system and go, we didn't sell any of those over the last week, 2 weeks, whatever the time frame we were looking at. Then I would go to the next one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 Walmarts in the geographic area of Baton Rouge. So we would have gone to those, especially knowing that the subject was already at Lowe's. So we knew that would be one. The Walmart's maybe a quarter mile from the Lowe's in Gonzales, so that would have been one logically would have checked also. The one by Burbank, I believe, is the closest one to his apartment in Louisiana. So you take all the information, the whole picture of the case, and you start there is where your search starts.
So let's say we go to a Walmart and they say, we sold 6 of these in the last 30 days.
No, Austin.
But that doesn't tell you, their system doesn't tell you when they sold it?
Yes, sir. They can pull up a lot of times, and they can pull up and say, okay, we sold these, six of them in 30 days. Then everything's so electronic now with the scanners and all, they can say, okay, those items were sold on aisle 4, 5, and 6, and here's the date and the time that those were sold.
Well, but in your experience, not all stores have that capability, is that right?
Yeah, and some of the mom and pop stores, the smaller stores, but the big chain stores, the bigger ones, usually have that capability so they can tell you what aisle the product's on and everything else.
So then you would have to search, or you would have to then look through all of those videos for, so they say we can tell it was sold in aisle 3, 4, or 5. Did you say that they can tell you time frame, or just that it's sold there?
They would say it's several things. They can tell you sometimes what aisle it's actually on, and then go in their system and say we sold it arbitrary date January 1, 2020. It was sold and it went through register 5 at 4:19 p.m. Then he would turn around and go to his surveillance system.
Fix that.
Rewind the cameras to that specific date, and you start watching, and then you can see whoever came through on January 1 at that time with that item.
Now, you mentioned the number of stores within the geographic area. Does that include like the Gonzales store?
Yes, sir.
As being the Baton Rouge geographic area?
It's probably 8 or 9 miles from one to the other.
Okay. And do you know how many Lowe's there are in that area?
I know there's 1 Lowe's, either 2 to 3 Lowe's, and I think 2 Home Depots. And then you can start getting into Denham Springs, and then there's another one once you get a little further out.
One moment, Ron.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now, at least there was a time when video wasn't retained very long. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of how long the stores such as Walmart retains video?
I can't recall. They all vary. Some of the larger ones actually keep it for years, some 30 days and they loop over, some 24 hours and it rewrites itself. So it's really store
It's
specific.
just crazy out here. You know, I worked this one case, they kept it, they don't even delete it. They keep it forever. And then these other folks decided 30 days is the rule. And these other folks, every fucking day, they get rid of evidence.
Specific.
So you don't know what the policy is for
those
Walmart?
places should keep it for a
No, sir.
while.
And you don't know what the policy is for Home Depot?
No, sir. I just know, based on some experience, it's not a 30-day rewrite. They have a little bit longer period of time to hold those videos.
Those places
than the
especially.
smaller
That's where
places.
people will be going to be
And
shopping
you
and
don't
doing
know what the policy
doing
is for
shit.
those?
No, sir.
Anything else, John?
Yes, I forgot to ask him. You also went to Academy Sports on November the 30th. Is that correct?
That's correct.
2016.
Yes.
And you recovered video from that store as well.
Yes.
Correct. And that depicted transactions from November the 18th, 2016, and November the 19th, 2016.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
And you had an opportunity to review those again? Those
Yes.
transactions?
Yes.
Are they the same as what you observed when you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
November the 30th.
And we follow the same process. We pick it up, we check it at the office before we turn it over to the sheriff's office to make sure it works.
So if the date of the offense in question in this trial is November the 26th, 2016, all of the videos that you saw were generated within 30 days of the date of the offense. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Russell?
Yes, Your Honor, just briefly. But you did not go November 26th to Academy Sports?
November 30th.
Or, right. But she said within a week of, or within 30 days of November 26th.
I'd have to look at the whatever reports, but we went, it was pretty quick once we got the call from Knox County saying, this is going on, can you help us? It was very quick after that date.
Do you know their policy for how long they keep tapes?
No, sir, I believe it's like Lowe's and Home Depot. They keep theirs a little longer because we have been to their stores before looking for stuff and thinking that they weren't going to have it, and we were shocked that they kept it, but I can't give you exact time frame.
Do you know how specific their system is if you came and said someone purchased, or we're trying to see if someone purchased a knife here? Do you know how specific their system is about particular purchases?
Theirs was pretty good, I recall, because we were able to find the suspect in stores on certain aisles and everything. So theirs is very complex as well as Walmart's.
Well, but again, did you have a receipt when you were doing that from the apartment?
I can't remember if we had the receipt, but even if you didn't, if you get there through a barcode and looking and have an item number and description, you'll be able to find what you need.
Okay.
Granted, if it's within the time you asked for.
Okay. But you don't know if their system is such that they could tell you what day it was purchased on or what days purchases of those knives were made?
We were able to find all that when they were looking through their system, yes, sir. But I'm not sure exactly which one we used because I don't want to discuss the evidence that was taken, but we would have gotten there the same way as we'd have looked for it. They would have said this was sold on this date and at this time. Their system's the same as Walmart is what you're getting at, yes, sir.
Thank you, that's all.
I would just add for the record, Your Honor, please, that we do have an affidavit from the Academy Sports loss prevention, director of loss prevention and custodian of records. So the only store we do not have an affidavit for is the Home Depot in Baton Rouge. And then the affidavit that I have in my possession right now would need to be redacted from Dan Boudreaux. So, and I have another officer to offer proof with respect to that issue.
All right, thanks, sir. You may step down. You can just remain in the hallway. We'll call you in here when the jury gets here in just a little bit later, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Other witnesses on offer of proof?
Coleman. And I would also remind the court that Investigator or Detective McCord received a phone call on the 29th of November from Academy of Sports. We had that testimony yesterday regarding the defendant's attempt to purchase a firearm on that date. So he was alerted to that.
Academy Sports Store that the earlier purchases were made in. Thank you, sir. We're getting the chair cleaned off for you right now. Please come to the witness stand. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in the case now on trial will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please have a seat, sir, and once you're seated, you may remove your mask.
Could you state your name for the record, please?
Gary Coleman.
And Mr. Coleman, where were you employed back in November and December of 2016?
FBI Violent Crimes Task Force, New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay. And did you work in cooperation with the Knox County Sheriff's Office and the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office with respect to the arrest of Joel Guy, the defendant in this case?
Yes.
Can you tell the judge what your role in that was?
My role was to go to a hardware store in Napoleonville, Louisiana, and to obtain any type of documents or video regarding transactions that may have occurred at that particular hardware store relative to the defendant.
And did you travel to that store in Napoleonville on December the 1st, 2016?
Yes.
And did you speak to Dan Boudreau, who is the owner of this Ace Hardware store?
Yes.
Did Mr. Boudreau provide video surveillance for you?
Yes.
And was that surveillance, did it depict the defendant on November the 7th, or did it depict a person making a purchase on November the 7th, 2016?
It was a purchase. I don't remember the exact date, but he did show us a video of the defendant.
And had you ever seen Joel Guy before? Were you able to identify him from the video? Did you participate in his arrest?
I didn't participate in his arrest, but I think I may have saw some photographs of him, perhaps. But I was able to recognize who he was.
You did recognize him?
Yes.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to review that video again?
Yes.
And is it the same as it was when you looked at it on December the 1st, 2016?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell the court how close Napoleonville is to Baton Rouge?
Maybe 30 miles, maybe 25 miles. I'm not certain. I'm based out of New Orleans, but it's relatively close. It's a maybe 25, 30-minute drive.
All right. And did you also, at the very same time, on the same date, receive, were you working with another agent?
Yes, I was working with a task force officer by the name of Michael Tucker.
Michael Tucker, okay. And did you go to Assumption Pharmacy, or was that Mr. Tucker, Agent Tucker?
I went together with Mr. Tucker to the pharmacy.
Okay. And did they provide you with video surveillance footage of depicting a person leaving the parking lot?
Yes.
And was that also on November the 7th? Was that dated on November 7th, 2016, when the person was leaving the parking lot?
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay. And did you review that video?
Yes.
And did you review it at the time that you talked to the person at Assumption Pharmacy?
Yes.
And did you review that again recently?
Yes.
Does it appear to be the same video?
Yes.
And was that video turned over to the Knox County Sheriff's Office in December of 2016?
Yes, it was turned over. I don't remember the exact date, but we turned it over.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll pass the witness.
When you went to the Academy to the Ace Hardware, when you went there, what information did you have that you were working off of?
We had information that we received from a supervisor tasking us
further back into the gallery it
to
gets,
that
the darker
particular
it
store
gets.
to obtain whatever evidence or video regarding what occurred at that particular store in terms of what was purchased and video of who purchased it.
Were you told the date and time that the item was purchased?
I can't recall whether we were told date and times, but I think we were told, I think with given the category of chemicals or something, perhaps.
So when you get to the store and you say a chemical purchase, obviously I guess you knew the types of chemicals. What did they have to do to find those items?
One of the individuals who worked at the store went to some system where they catalog purchases or dates or times or by item. They did some type of hand computer research or something, but they eventually were able to cross-reference and come up with a date and a time.
How many videos did you have to watch? Was it just one, or did they show you several to try and identify?
Well, I only saw the one that they found, but they did some preliminary work prior to them ever actually pulling up the video, so I kind of meandered around the store just looking around while they did what they needed to do to get what we needed.
How long were you there? Do you remember?
35 to 40 minutes, perhaps.
Okay. Now, did you have a photo of, or anything else of the suspect?
I think we may have had a photo, but I don't recall sharing that or giving that to anyone at the store, but I think we did have a photo.
Luckily it was in this. We're good.
Now, do you remember what day you went there? You may have testified. I may have missed it. Do you remember what day you went there?
I think it was in December, maybe December the 1st, perhaps, of 16.
One moment, please.
Yes, sir.
So, do you recall where you're kind of vague on the photo. Do you recall where it came from, or?
I don't remember, sir. I was in a support role on that particular case. We were violent crimes task force. We respond to bank robberies, cruise ship. We do a lot of vesting up in and out of vehicles, and I wasn't the primary lead on that case, so I just don't recall.
Thank you, that's all.
Anything else, Jim? Thanks, sir. You may go back to the hallway. We'll call you in just a few minutes. Further proof? Okay.
I guess what I'm asking the court is, we need to identify what's in dispute. In my mind, the videos that are in dispute are the Dan Boudreaux and the Lowe's and Home Depot, because we have the records custodians affidavits, well, not the Lowe's, but now, because I do have an affidavit now, but the Home Depot and the Dan Boudreaux store. With respect to Academy Sports, we have a valid 902 affidavit. We have one for the Walmart in Baton Rouge, and we have one for Lowe's. And I also have the officers present who actually went and looked at the video there and reviewed it again, and we'll say that it's the same. I believe that TFL Coleman's testimony.
I'm watching you, motherfucker. I'm watching you.
It's a redacted version
I see
of
you.
Boudreaux's affidavit. The state could take out the testimonial language in it. I think that's sufficient. I don't know if before we get to that point, his other affidavit will come in. I don't. I've been waiting on it, Judge, for weeks. So.
There's two issues.
And then the Academy Sports, obviously, we have the records custodian's affidavit for that.
So there's two issues, and the offer of proof primarily is going to the issue of whether or not these videos are fruit of the poisonous tree from the search of the defendant's apartment, which I have ruled was unconstitutional. And so I don't think there's any question at all that the receipts that were found in his apartment were used to hone in on these videos. But as I said in my written ruling, and I think that the offer of proof supports that finding, is that I do believe that these videos are not subject to suppression due to inevitable discovery. You have to remember that we have more than receipts here. If we were talking about items that were found in the defendant's apartment and the receipt was in the apartment, I would say, yes, you can't go back and get a video for that. But what we're talking about, I believe, my understanding, are items that were found in the Golden View home. And when the police, we've already seen over the last 2 days, the massive amount of care and collection or time that they took in collecting everything they possibly could find there. And there were items that were clearly connected to these homicides. And you don't normally have 3 jugs of bleach and large industrial size bottles of drain cleaner. And when you combine that with what they found in the home, these are obviously instruments being used in the homicides and alleged abuse of corpse. And so I think that we heard the testimony from the officers that they would have used these product codes to find out where these items are sold. They would start with the large stores, which is
that's true,
where these most of these products are purchased, other than the Dan Boudreaux. And then we had the Post-it note from the suitcase in the Golden View home that specifically listed the name and address of that hardware store. And a product. I don't know if it's the same one that was actually purchased there, but a similar product. And so even though I believe that the search of the apartment was unconstitutional, I don't think that the videos that were subsequently discovered for products that weren't found in the apartment are still admissible, because they were going to find these anyway. Now, I certainly think the receipts saved them a lot of time and helped them find them quicker. Academy Sports, they knew about that particular store because of the attempted gun purchase as well, too. So I don't think that it is fruit of the poisonous tree, and I'm just going to affirm my prior ruling on that.
I'm going to add for the record, too, that Detective McCord acted immediately on the Walmart receipts. So, I mean, there was urgency to try to identify a suspect, and so he went the very same day that the bodies were found to the Walmart here locally.
Well, I think it's key that the Baton Rouge stores weren't searched until after they had developed Mr. Guy as a suspect and knew where he lived. And so the places they looked, I think we heard testimony from one of the agents that it was the Walmart closest to his home, I believe is what he said. In any event,
I'm the judge and I'm making the ruling.
I'm going to let the videos come in. Now, the 902 issue, the affidavits, I think we've addressed most of those, and I do think that one is problematic. Perhaps we can redact it. I need to go back and read it again. I was expecting another one, so I didn't. Yeah. All right. Any other preliminary matters, Mr. Halstead?
Well, I think they're telling us that they don't have the affidavits for Home Depot in Louisiana. So do we agree that those will not be admitted into evidence?
The videos, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else you're going to enter it if you don't have a witness or you don't have a proper authentication.
I do have a witness for the Home Depot. I have Agent King, and I do have a witness for Dan Boudreaux, Agent Coleman. So
Boudreaux, you have the affidavit on.
And I have an affidavit that I need to just redact the
extra language.
Which basically just says I met with these agents.
Yeah. So King, you're saying, can bring in the video because he was there and got it from the store?
Yes.
What do you say to that, Mr. Halstead?
So this is the Ace Hardware one?
Home Depot, I believe.
This is for Lowe's and Home Depot, and essentially, can I just read this?
Yeah.
I thought you had a 902 for Lowe's.
I did, but when we prepared this memo with the assistance of Bill Bright, well, not with the assistance, with Bill Bright doing the memo for me, I didn't have it. But essentially, What we would say, Your Honor, please, is that we should be permitted to introduce this evidence from the Lowe's purchase on November 7th, 2016 at 12:40, and because for the reasons that we have stated through the testimony of Agent King, and also with respect to the purchases on November the 18th, 2016, made at the Home Depot store in Baton Rouge, relying upon Agent King's testimony. Our argument would be that in Tennessee, a trial court must require a party to authenticate or identify any evidence prior to its admission at trial, citing Tennessee Rule of Evidence 901A. In order to authenticate a piece of evidence, a witness only has to testify that the matter is what it is claimed to be, citing Tennessee Rule of Evidence 9B1. In order to authenticate tangible evidence, a witness must be able to identify the evidence or establish an unbroken chain of custody. And we are citing State versus Kilpatrick, 52 Southwest 3rd, 81, a Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals case from 2000. Authentication of tangible evidence serves to demonstrate that there has been no tampering, loss, substitution, or mistake with respect to the evidence. Quoting State versus Braden, 867 Southwest 2nd, 750, Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals at 1993, and also State versus Irvin, which is a Westlaw case decided on February the 12th, 2020. Rule 901 does not require absolute certainty of identification. Rather, the circumstances established must reasonably assure the identity of the evidence and its integrity. Citing State versus Ferguson, 741 Southwest 2nd, 125, Tennessee Criminal Court of Appeals case from 1987, and Ritter versus State, 462 Southwest 2nd, 247, Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals, 1970. In those cases, the court noted in Ferguson, if the tangible evidence is unique, readily identifiable, and relatively resistant to change, the required testimony need only to confirm the evidence's relevance. State versus Cannon, 254 Southwest 3rd, 287. That's a Tennessee Supreme Court case from 2008. In Irvin, the defendant contended that since the detective who introduced the video did not physically see the defendant on the night of a burglary, he couldn't provide a sufficient authentication for the video at trial and its date and timestamp. But he offered testimony that the court found persuasive to show his training, that training that he had regarding identifying a date and timestamp from video, and his training in obtaining surveillance video in the case at hand. So essentially the court was saying that in that case that the defendant's training and experience was sufficient to support introduction of the evidence. In our case, Agent King went to these stores with respect to the Lowe's. He talked to Charlie Spears on November the 30th of 2016. He requested to review evidence, or requested the video. He reviewed it. It showed a timestamp, a date and timestamp of November 7th, 2016 at 12:40. He viewed it. I think he testified that he went back and viewed it again, then at his office to make sure that it was operating properly, and then of course he viewed it recently in anticipation of testimony at trial. He recognized the defendant as being the person who was making the purchase because he had participated in his arrest. He's testified that the Lowe's was in Gonzales, Louisiana, which is a bedroom community of Baton Rouge, and close in time. So with respect to the Home Depot, Agent King has testified about his contact with the records custodian or security manager at Home Depot in Baton Rouge. He's offered testimony about the limited, I think he said there were 4 Home Depots in the Baton Rouge area. He went to the one that's closest to the defendant's apartment. It's located on a street called Burbank. And he actually spoke to the asset protection manager on December the 6th of 2016. He went there, viewed the video, looked at it, saw a transaction that occurred on November the 18th, 2016 at two transactions, one at 2:29 p.m. and then again at 3:01 p.m. He reviewed it, recognized the defendant, he reviewed it again, he says it's the same in the same format, same form, and we believe that pursuant to these cases that you should be able to, we should be able to include Lowe's and the Home Depot. So, and I would suggest the same analogy applies to the Dan Boudreaux store. And we obviously had immediate information that this was going to be a location, and so I guess that's a different issue. But certainly that did not come from the Baton Rouge apartment. Only we knew about that before we even had an arrest warrant for the defendant, that was a relevant piece of evidence. So we knew about that on November the 28th, the day the bodies were discovered.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Harwell?
Good morning, Your Honor. As I understand it, the issue we're dealing with is an authentication problem. And the one thing that I see it different in a number of ways from the state, but we're not talking about tangible evidence. We're not talking about a physical item that
this is the first time this guy spoke.
All of the cases the state was citing seem to be referring to. We're talking about documentary evidence saved in an electronic format. So as I see it, there's two ways to authenticate a surveillance or security video of the kind we're dealing with. One is if you have someone who can watch the video who also was a percipient witness, who can say, yes, that video is a fair and accurate representation of what happened. And I don't think there's been any assertion that anyone has the knowledge necessary to do that, to watch the video and say, yes, I saw Mr. Guy purchase that item, and that video depicts him purchasing that item. The other way you can do it is through the business records of the company. That cases do establish that security video can be considered as a business record if it's kept in the ordinary course of business and saved by the company for business purposes, and we have some affidavits that do that. What we seem to be dealing with here is a situation where we don't have the affidavit, and the state is intending to use a non-company witness to basically provide the information that should have been in the affidavit. To have an agent testify that this video was kept by the company, that it's made by somebody with personal knowledge, that it's done for company purposes. And those things may in fact be true, but the agent's not the right witness to offer that. To the extent he knows any of those things, it's not because he works for the company. He doesn't work for the company. He only knows those things because maybe someone has told him. And so
he's breathing into my ear right now.
Basically, we can just cut out the business records part of the authentication, and I don't think that's a correct analysis. I think if they have a proper custodian to testify in person, or a properly executed affidavit from a custodian, that could authenticate these security videos. But some agent who went to the business and had a conversation with someone who worked at the business is not sufficient.
And just to clarify, at this point, you do have an affidavit from Lowe's, but you don't from Home Depot.
And I've got the affidavit from Dan Boudreaux. And it reads, I, Daniel G. Boudreaux, am the duly authorized custodian of records for Dan Boudreaux's Ace Hardware and have the authority to certify said records. It's his store. He's Dan Boudreaux's Ace Hardware is the name of the store. On December 1st, 2016, TFOs Michael Tucker and Jerry Coleman traveled to Napoleonville, Louisiana, and interviewed me, the owner of Dan Boudreaux's Ace Hardware store located at 4767 Louisiana 1, Napoleonville, Louisiana. The investigators advised me of the nature of their investigation and requested to review surveillance footage from November 7th, 2016. There was a receipt, Judge. I mean, there's no question that receipts did help narrow down a time frame. I copied the footage to a thumb drive provided by TFO Tucker. TFO Tucker also obtained a photocopy of the receipt containing items purchased by the suspect. The surveillance footage saved to the thumb drive and photocopies of the receipts attached are true and correct copies of records, and these records were made on or about November 7th, 2016, and were kept in the regular course of business. Signed, Daniel Boudreau, and it was notarized. So I want to submit this.
Here's what we're gonna do. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. That's not your original, is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we need to make a copy of this and strike out the surplusage, so it just conforms with 902. And it's 10 o'clock. Let's take a short recess. I'll come back and tell you what I'm going to decide on the Home Depot video. But if you can go ahead and get rid of that surplusage in there and just leave it with the proper business. All right, let's take a 10-minute recess, folks. We'll come back and begin our testimony.
Oh, sure. We still have 5 minutes here after this recess.
Dan Boudreau's attorney.
Updated.
His lawyer.
See if he's going to let it in.
An email form. She took a photograph of it. He was getting it notarized this morning, but when they emailed it to me, I took a photograph. I emailed it to Mr. Hesed. I don't know what to say other than this is the best I could do.
So they got. Did you guys see they got like crime scene tape up that is blocking off the gallery? Look at that. They're like, just put up some crime scene tape. It's fine. Oh, let me fix that audio if that's what it is. Boom. Gotcha, guys. Hopefully. This will drive you crazy.
So here's what I want to do on the Home Depot video. This is the one where we don't have, excuse me, we don't have.
He just hawked a loogie inside that man.
902.
He just got to act like it didn't happen.
11 affidavit. And so the requirement of any party that is trying to introduce an item into evidence is that you have to prove that it is authentic, that it is what the proponent purports it to be. And Rule 902 says extrinsic evidence of authenticity as a condition precedent to admissibility is not required as to the following. And then it lists a bunch of things, including certified records of business records, certified records of regularly conducted activity, and what we call business records. And so we don't have that for the Home Depot video. So there does have to be extrinsic evidence. Remember, 902 says extrinsic evidence of authenticity as a condition precedent is not required in these. And so what we have to have, short of that, is some extrinsic evidence. And what the state has presented this morning is the testimony of Special Agent King, who says he went to the particular store and he met with a particular person who I believe at the Home Depot was Aaron Haskins, and he viewed the video in the store after telling them what it is that he's looking for. And he saw the store security video, which is pretty easy to tell. It's a Home Depot store video purchasing the item that he was searching for, and purportedly to be the defendant making that purchase. And so as far as authenticity, I don't have any question at all that the video is what purports to be, and that is what's required. And so we do have testimony of a witness with knowledge. It's Agent King who went and watched this. And so it certainly would have been a whole lot less messy if we had the records custodian submit an affidavit. I'm not sure how difficult that is. But it doesn't change the fact that I do believe that the video is authentic, that there's no question to that. And so I think it's proper to admit it, and I'm going to allow the state to bring it in through Agent King. All right, and everything else I think we've got affidavits for that I previously ruled on. I think Dan Boudreau's is okay as well, too. But I do want to take out that language. We can just white it out on the original. Let's see.
I omitted the second and third paragraphs.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And I would say that Aaron Haskins was in contact with our office, Judge, but he works as an emergency first responder, and he responded to the situation in Louisiana with the hurricane, and I think that's probably why he never got back in touch with us. So.
All right. So that's what we're going to do. General, you ready for your next witness?
Where are we going to be starting next week?
Bossman.
Oh, shit. Double A. Arn Anderson.
Are you ready, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Four horsemen.
It's okay. I just didn't want to rush you.
Oh, zoom in of the old duck system up there. What the hell is that? Next week, we are starting with a 19-minute video. East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Sergeant Scott Henning takes the stand. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this morning has been amazing. An amazing episode of Murder Church. So we will be going into week 6 here on season 3 of Murder Church. An insane trial. One thing I want to tell you guys to go peep is Friday's episode of Feral Friday over on Kick. We watched the entire film of a movie that is called X. That will be getting taken down sometime this week and being put exclusively over on Patreon. I'm going to be taking that off X, so you have a limited time that you can watch the entire episode from Feral Friday, which was absolute madness. We had a blast. It was crazy. That movie is wild as fuck. Jessica for Justice is going to be going live in about 20 minutes over on her channel on Kick. Let's make sure this works, and you guys, all of her socials should pop up there. Yeah, Viv, thank you for coming through here. Really appreciate it. It's been a crazy morning. It's been an excellent morning. But yeah, make sure you're following Jessica over on Kick because she's going to be going live here shortly. But yeah, save that X Feral Friday because wow, it was quite the episode. It was nuts. And everybody that came through here today, holy shit. So much support here today. First of all, I want to give a shout out to MJ who came through and she gave out $10 passing the plate at the only church I will attend. Hell yes. Hell yes. Thank you, MJ. Appreciate that.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Huh?
I'm sober enough to know what I'm doing, and I'm drunk enough to really enjoy doing it.
Yes. Love it. Thank you very much. Shannon also coming through $10 for Gypsy. Yes, Gypsy. And that's awesome. I really appreciate any support that's coming towards for Gypsy, guys. Everybody that's come through, absolutely amazing. Everybody that's been showing off their memberships coming through here. The insane longevity of those are blowing my mind every time. You guys are crazy. Like going through, even looking at those is unbelievable. Crazy morning. I can't even believe it. Jay is going to be, are you going live in the morning? I'm sure. Let me see if you've already got something set up here, and we will. I think he's got a members only thing going on today. Him and Shannon, if I'm not mistaken, actually. But let's see if he's got anything set up for tomorrow that I can send folks to. Because that's going to be through, I believe it's maybe the Patreon or maybe it's just the YouTube members situation. But let me look through here just real quick. I don't see that he's got anything set up. Yeah, here we go. He's got a lot set up, actually. Shit. He's got a video coming of decoding Wendy Adelson. And then, of course, the Chad Daybell jury selection is still going. And then he's got an interview coming up also, it looks like. I'm going to send you to the Chad Daybell. Does that sound good? Is that where you want me to send them? I'm going to send them that direction, Jay. Hell yes. Next week is members only. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Next Sunday. I saw that post and I should have read it better. Excuse me. Sorry about that, Jay. And everybody make sure you're get on that because the members only when they have them are fucking awesome. Like they don't mess around with that stuff. Hell yeah, everybody. Thank you all so much. Today at 2 live stream. Okay. Let me put that on there. Yeah, I will do that one actually. Yeah. I didn't know that was today. So let me get that. Boom. And hell yeah, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Bam. Perfect. That is where you guys are going to be getting teleported through the portal into the next stream. Absolutely, dude. Love you guys. But before you go there, perfect timing. How to kill a Sunday. How to kill a Sunday. Murder Church. Straight into Jessica for Justice over on Kick. Straight into Jay dropping a new one. Let's fucking go, guys. We are killing it out here. You guys are absolutely unbelievable. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to stop rambling. WrestleMania Night 2 is tonight. Tomorrow is going to be an insane day at work, I'm sure, because I'm going to be up really late. You know, that shit doesn't ever end, it seems. Last night went to like midnight. It started at 7, but I got a buddy coming over. We're going to have a good time. Boom. Rocking and rolling, baby. Always, brother. Thank you, dude. Fuck, always, man. Love Jay. Love Shannon so much. Charlotte from the future, I love you. Wildside, everybody coming through here. I can't say it enough. You guys are unbelievable.
This hurts.